What's up? All right. What's going on? I'm going to add NEMT, non-emergency transportation. Okay. Hey. I'm waiting on Shari about to join us. She logging on now. We're gonna go live. What's up? What's up, cuz? waiting, waiting on her to jump on. So we're gonna have some great conversation tonight. Non-emergency transportation providers. If you own a transportation business and you transport people, then this is where you want to be. I'm waiting on Shari. She's with Camtron out of Alabama. And we're going to go live, have a good conversation, but also answer some questions that people may have if you're thinking about starting your transportation business, transporting people. You're trying to figure out how to get into this recession-proof industry, then that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dive in. She's in Alabama, and so there's so many people that want to get into this business and think that they have to, that you have to work with brokers or not sure how to start. And so we're going to dive into that. And she works strictly with private clients. Like she doesn't work with brokers. And so we wanted to have conversation just so people would know, like, it can be done with a little bit of work. It can be done. And that way, if you have questions, I'm waiting on her to jump on. But if you have questions, then we're going to be able to answer. I'm going to try to log on to my IG too. But that way, you know, if y'all have questions, somebody on IG might have a different question and we can share it. But if you're trying to figure out what we're talking about, so my name is Stephanie. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I own a transportation business. I'm CEO of S&S Carrying Transportation. One of the things that we do is non-emergency medical transportation service. So if you have heard about, we take people to the doctor, we take people to different types of appointments, we do, but it's so much more than that. And so that's what we're going to really dive into, is how to get into this industry. No, you don't have to have a CDL license. Can you start with your own car? We're going to get into those questions because I'm pretty sure there's a ton of myths out there saying, well, don't start with your own car. Okay, there she go. There she go. All right. So can you start with your own car? Question is yes, you can. Do you have to, have to purchase a van? No. So we're gonna dive in. I'm super excited. Like me and her, we've never physically met. But listen, we've known each other for so
Forever.
long. It's like we've known each other for so long, but I feel like it's the vibe. Like we both have really good energy, and even you think about the black girl follow train. Like we've been doing that. We go on each other's page, we share, we like, we comment, and Even she's in Alabama, and it's still no competition. It's still all love. And so I'm
Yeah,
glad you.
my first time going live on
What?
TikTok. So
What?
I'm yeah. Can you see me?
No, I don't see you. I'm about to tell you, I don't see you.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Nope.
You can't see me now?
Uh-uh.
Okay, what
Oh, I see you now.
okay.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi,
Hey, hey. Look
hey,
at you. You all dolled up, child. I should have did my hair.
right quick. It's been a long day. If
I
anybody
know.
here, then you know that anybody in NEMT knows the days get long. So if you're
A
interested in
long
this,
day.
just know.
I had a long day today. So I kind of, listen, I kind of introduced myself. I'm going to let you introduce and talk about, you know, your business, how long, well, you don't really got to get into how long, but you know what I'm saying? It's your first time going live.
Yeah,
Introduce yourself to the people.
now Instagram too at the same time. So but I used to go live on Instagram all the time, but this is my first time going live on TikTok. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Again, my name is Sherry C. Wright. I'm the owner of Campton Transport here in Birmingham, Alabama, where we provide safe, reliable, and friendly transportation to people 50 and older. 2 medical appointments. So that's what we're doing. It's been almost we're going on 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in September. And I love what I do. It has impacted my life in so many different ways that I hadn't even imagined. So
Look at that.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited that you're here. Like I was like, girl, we gotta do a live. We just talked like the other day. It's like we gotta do a live,
Yeah,
because what's crazy is I have I have met people, or either like in my Facebook group, is people that are from Alabama. So I'm always, that's why I said we ain't never met. But I'm like, oh, I know somebody. You'll be in good hands.
out
She in
of
Birmingham.
yeah,
Like, reach out to her on social media.
yes. I try to meet as many providers in different states as I can because I really think that if we connect and we work together, we can turn this industry around. In my opinion, the industry is really a money grabber, and um
Yeah, it is.
because it's controlled by those big brokers, you know. So if we all work together on an individual basis and we all build our businesses, then we might can become a broker ourselves.
I'm telling you, I had a conversation. I went live with Dante. He's in Michigan.
Okay.
I think his page is like the homeschool dad. But he was like, somebody asked him, I mean, like, what do I have to do to be a broker? And he was like, man, you can't do that. I was like, listen, that's on my 10-year plan. What you mean we can't be brokers? If I know you. I know him. I know somebody in California. Why can't we all join forces and become a broker? Why can't we? I feel like we can.
Exactly.
But that's the only but I think people get into it with the thinking, like I was just talking about it, like while we're waiting on you, is like people get into it thinking you just driving people around, like you just taking people to the doctor. So i'm gonna let I'm gonna let you tell people, you know how we was talking the other day on how important it is, one, to do your research, but what's your thoughts on when people are first getting into the industry and you see where people say, oh, well, it's no experience needed, like you can just, you know, go at it. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, I think it's, and I'm sorry because my son called me on my phone and I got it on do not disturb, but he just messed up my whole live on Instagram. So hold on, I gotta log back in. But I think it's a combination of both. Hold on, let me go back
Mm-hmm.
because I had some people tuning in on it. Okay, I'm back. IG, I'm sorry, my son don't listen. Okay, so I think it's a combination of both actually because you can come into this with no experience,
Right.
but and you can learn, and anything is, you can learn anything.
Right.
What ended? No. Personally, I got into this industry back in 2007, working in a call center, and I used that experience combined with other jobs that I worked to really really get started. Uh, I would. I think the question that I'm always asked is, would I work under somebody else or would I just jump out there by myself? And
Right.
I actually had the opportunity to do both. Okay. I was able to work with another provider um, that took me step by
Mm,
took me step by step and let me ride with his driver.
mm.
Took me step by step and let me ride with his driver. Let me ride with his driver.
I think she dropped off, y'all. So Sherry was talking about. She was just talking about the making sure when you starting. So when you start in your transportation business. So remember, it's not just my business is an NEMT business. It's more so you own a transportation business, but the service that you provide is the non-emergency. I'm trying to see if she come back on. The service that you provide is the non-emergency medical transportation, but you can pretty much, hey, I'm on TikTok and IG, but you can pretty much start in any state. The biggest thing is like she was saying. I think she about to hold on. I'm trying to get her to come back on, but the biggest thing is doing your research. So if you ask me a question and say, well, I want to start my NEMT business, I'm lost, like I'm clueless, then that tells me really that you haven't done any research. And so I think NEMT is like, oh, there she is. NEMT is like any other business research. And so I think NEMT is like, oh, there she is. NEMT is like any other business. You got to do some research. Like, how you know what you getting into if you don't know? You, oh, there you go. I just listen. I was just filling in while you. We can't hear. Wait, hold on. I don't know. We can't hear you, Sherry. We're having technical difficulties. Well, I could hear you. Mm-mm. It sounds like your mic, like you far away.
Okay, what about now?
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
So you were saying you start with the research.
Yes. Okay. So I think that it's better to do research
Mm-hmm.
than to say that you need experience. I think that it's
Right.
important to do your research and know what you're getting into. Yes, it is picking up and dropping people off, but it's more complex to it. You really have to have the personality. You have to, first of all, like people. I get so many people in my van, like seriously. And let me
Right.
tell y'all, the customers will get in your van and they will talk about you to other providers because they want to ride with who they want to ride with. So I get a lot of
Yeah.
people that ride with other providers and they will be like, I don't want to ride with them no more. I have somebody right now actually that she's a little upset. I don't know if this is every state, but at the beginning of the year, some people have like two insurances. They have their primary insurance and then they have
Mm-hmm.
their Medicaid. Okay.
Right.
So, and I do transport Medicaid people, but we can get into that and I'll break that down how I do that. So her insurance, her primary insurance allots her a certain amount of rides per month. I'm sorry, per year. And
Per
so
year.
those rides start over at the beginning of each year. And
Right.
so we just found out this is the first week of January. We just found out that she has rides available through her primary insurance, which I don't work with the brokers, so I can't take her because the only
Right.
insurance that I do accept is Medicaid. And so she is like upset. We found this out yesterday. And she was like, and I called her after I talked to the social worker and everything. She was like, I'm mad with you. You got me riding with somebody else. I don't know these people. And I'm like, it's okay. as of February 3rd, you will be riding back with me. Don't worry about it, but you just got to use those rides, first. So,
Mm.
they don't, people, they like to be comfortable. They like clean vans. They like people who like people. I can't tell you how many times that I've heard stories about rude drivers.
But I
It's,
think
it's
it comes
crazy.
from so do you think that, and this is me. So I feel like the reason why you gonna get somebody rude or somebody that's not compassionate or passionate is because they in it for the wrong reason. So
Yes.
if you paying attention, if you pay attention to where people say on videos or wherever YouTube and stuff, and people say, look, you can make 10, you can make 10 grand a month. So if you get into it with the mindset that, yeah, now I ain't gonna lie, make some money. But if you get into it with that mindset, then you're not gonna be nice to people. What you're not gonna like it. You're just gonna be like, get in. And as soon as you ain't even gonna put the car in park before you be kicking
You,
people out.
exactly. And
Mm,
my first job, my very first boss told me never go into business to make money. Now, I was
never.
13 years old, and I was like, I'm not
What
doing
you
nothing for
mean?
free. Yeah, why would I be working, and I'm not getting no money? But
Right.
that's true, because when the money isn't coming in, what's your passion?
Right.
What's your other reason to keep going? Because this isn't no jump in and, oh, you got your vans and you ready to go, and now you
Mm-hmm.
got trips every day type thing. So you have to have the motivation to keep pushing, keep
Yeah.
going, keep, and just and flourish,
That's the only way, but that's the only way because I know when I first started, I started with my own personal cars.
Mhm.
And I was like, I really want to do this, but I didn't want to get into no debt. So
Right.
I drove my personal cars. Um, what's up? And so when driving my personal cars, because I've seen videos where people say, oh, you can't start with your personal car. I
You
did. I
can.
had a Nissan Altima, but again, it's pros and cons to it. So you got to know that you putting people, strangers, in your car.
Into your car.
You got to get commercial insurance on your
On
personal
your car.
car.
Mhm.
And so I was like, well, this is what I want to do. But I knew that I knew that I had an end game to it, that at some point I was going to upgrade to minivans. Like I knew, but I wanted to trust the process and say, okay,
Yes.
well, I'm not going to go and, get a car note or get a loan. I'm going to work my butt off. And me and my son started doing it in
Good.
my personal cars. And I done moved to minivans now, but I think people want to jump into it saying, well, I'm gonna go out and get these minivans, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it where people say, "Well, I got my vans now. I need some customers," and I'm like, "Well, you missed some steps. If you already got a van and you don't have people in it,
You wait.
then
You
you have definitely missed some steps. You have
Yeah.
definitely missed some steps."
Yeah.
So when
I think that, and I think also, this is again going back to the brokers, that some brokers mandate that you have a certain amount of vehicles, excuse me, before you even can apply with them.
and
So
some people don't like that, but I don't think they understand the reason why.
mhm, they
Because
want to
some
make
people
sure that
say,
you can handle the volume.
right.
They want to make sure they're not just going to send you 2, 3 rides. They gonna Now the volume is going to be there. The volume is going to be there,
Well, you
but
know,
they
you
want to make
said the
sure that
volume
if they send these rides to you, that you can
that you can
handle
do
them.
it.
They don't want to. I actually working for a broker. I was promoted to quality assurance representative, and
Mm-hmm.
it was my job to audit the providers. I had to find them if they were late, if they were, I had to make sure the wheelchairs and everything was strapped in. So it's like, you trying to make your money, but then they have somebody in the office that's going to find you
If you don't,
$500,
if you don't be late,
$1,000, $1,500
listen,
if you don't have your stuff together. So that's
don't have
eating
your
up
stuff
even more of
together.
your money.
If you don't, I know I work when I first started. I worked with this broker One Call,
Okay.
and when I started, like I was really green, and I was like, okay, I thought I did my research, but clearly I didn't do enough research, and so I tell people all the time, like where I messed up was I did not do enough research, but I did not have any type of marketing plan at all.
Mm.
So I was out here with the brokers and I was getting quantity trips. Like I was getting trips, but they were not quality. So I
Mhm.
wasn't making no real money
Mhm.
because by the time they take their fees out, so if my rate, my base rate is, for example, my rate is $30, would a broker say, well, um, we don't give two scraps about your rate. Our rate is $20, and we gonna give you $1.25 per mile. And so when you calculate that, you can stay busy all day. But if you're not looking for quality over quantity,
Mhm.
you messed up in the game. So people gonna tell you like, oh, well, you can start with brokers. Like, yeah, you can.
You can.
I ain't knocking brokers because I learned a lot working with brokers. Like I
Mhm.
learned a lot, but I also learned in like 45 days that this ain't for me. And let me get my shit together and get me a marketing plan and figure out
And go out and get
how
my own
and go
customers.
out and get my own clients. But
Mhm.
remember, we was talking and we was like, you know what? The thing is that people don't want to do the work
Yes.
that come
And
with private clients.
that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. And if I mean it's work. Like the stuff that you don't think about. If you run into the first thing that I did was I created and I perfected my elevator pitch. And if anybody on here isn't familiar with an elevator pitch, it's basically imagine you're in the elevator with somebody and you have to tell them who you
Mm-hmm.
are, what you do, and how you can help them or what you know how they can connect with you
Right.
before y'all get to the next floor and they get off the elevator. So that's typically 30 seconds. Okay. So
Yeah.
the first thing I did was perfect my elevator pitch because you never know who
Never.
you're going to run into. Yes, Cartessa said she's in Texas. Can I get a ride? She said 3 minutes or less. 3 minutes
Three
is when you
minutes.
sitting at a restaurant or something and you at a networking event or something
Mm-mm.
like that. But if you in
Elevator.
the
You got
elevator,
it's to me.
you
It's
gotta
similar to
introduce
like,
yourself and get your point across and
and
have
that's
your
it.
cards ready.
Like,
Don't leave the house without your cards. Keep them on you.
oh yeah.
You know, I put them in my pockets. I put them in my purse. I put them everywhere because you just never know who you're going to be talking to. I walked into a coffee shop here in Birmingham and ended up talking to one of the mayors of a
You
city here in
never know.
Birmingham, and I didn't even know who he was. I was looking, I was like, why did he look familiar? And the owner of the coffee shop was like, you know who that is? And I was like, nah, I don't know who that is. And he was trying to play it cool, like he wasn't the mayor, you know. So he was like, yeah, I'm so and so. I said, so he was like, so the owner of the coffee shop said, introduce, you know, tell him who you are. So I told him, he was like, oh, I might need to speak with you. I'm Mayor so and so. And I was like, oh, had no idea, you know. So it's like,
Listen,
you just never know
but
who
you
you're going
never
to run
know,
into.
and I think what goes with that is always being ready. Like they say, if you stay ready, you ain't
You
never
don't
got
got
to
to
get
get
ready.
ready. Mm-hmm.
And so if you stay ready, meaning like if you know what you do, but you can explain it without stumbling and be like, well, like I do, like this what I do. No, they want
You
they
got to be
want to know.
on point.
You got
You
to be
got to be
on
on
it
point. Yeah. Yeah.
because you're gonna lose them. It's just like TikTok videos. If your
Yes.
video's too long, they gone. They
That
gone.
the attention for that they're gonna keep scrolling. And so you know, you gotta capture them, you gotta let them know, like I said, 30 seconds. You know, you gotta be ready. And the confidence.
The
Because if they say, well, what do you do? And you're like, well, I try to, or what I'm working on, or no, you got to say, look, my name is so and so. I'm the owner. Here's my car, and this is what we do. Do you have an email address, that I can add you to my
Mm-hmm.
email list or something like that? Or, do you have a card that we can exchange, just real
Don't.
quick, you got to be ready. Yeah.
You gotta be ready. I think that's where I know for me, like when I first started, like I was like, I had, like you said, perfected whether it's looking in the mirror, because I was like, my name is Stephanie. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and but but
Shabuya.
then,
Sha.
you know, I was like, girl, you gotta get this thing. And so I kept practicing it. And so when people say, even if you say you have a NEMT business, like I don't even say that I own an NEMT business, because I really don't. I feel like to me, I own a transportation business. I own a transportation business,
Mm-hmm.
and I transport people. But when you say that you own a NEMT business, I feel like putting your business in a box and
Yeah.
saying that's really all that you can do. So I own a transportation business and I transport people.
Mm-hmm.
One of the services that we provide is non-emergency transportation.
That's a good way to put it.
But what about if you take people to the airport? Well, that's not an emergency either, but you can do that.
Yes.
You can take
Yeah.
people. I mean, we take people to the grocery store. Like we take people. I was laughing with somebody because I was like, y'all know BBLs is on the rise. Y'all
Yes.
better hit up. Y'all better hit up the
It's
plastic
somebody in Texas.
surgeons.
It's somebody in Texas. It's Miami, and I saw somebody in New York so far that's doing trips
I'm
for
telling
BBLs.
you, can
Get
take
into
people
it.
anywhere. If
Yes.
you have a licensed driver, if you have a vehicle that's reliable, and you got good insurance. So you know how you said on one of your videos, you was like, look, don't be cheap when it comes to that commercial insurance. So when people ask, like, where can I get some cheap insurance?
Already know.
I
You're
already
not
know.
gonna make it. It's some stuff you cannot be cheap with, because and honestly, I got a lower rate recently, and I was like, I like my company that I was paying a few more $100 to, just because of the timeliness of how they handle stuff, the professionalism, everything.
Mhm.
And I have the cheaper rate, yeah, it keeps my overhead low, but if I need them, in the case that I need them, what's going to happen.
What's
And
gonna
so
happen?
and I rather have a smooth process than anything, so but I think the sticker shock to the insurance, I think in one of the Facebook groups today, somebody was like, I was quoted $76,000 a year for 3 vans. This can't be correct. This is insane.
And
And I'm so
look, I'll be
tired of
like, yeah,
commenting
that's
on them
about right.
comments and be like, it's regular. Welcome
That's
to the
about
club.
right. I think people kind of want to compare it to their personal
Their
insurance, and
personal
I'm
car
like,
insurance.
you got to
Hmm.
remember, you're transporting precious cargo. You
Yeah.
transporting people. If you think you're gonna get cheap insurance, cheap tires,
Cheap
cheap
vehicles.
cheap vehicles, cheap maintenance. Like you can't let Ray around the corner
Hmm.
change your oil all the time and give your vehicle your maintenance. Like you gonna have to put in some money. So when you first started, did you did you include like your startup costs? Like did it cost you a lot other than your insurance? Did you have to pay a lot of out of pocket costs?
I did. And I, like a maniac, had quit my job because I did. And I, like a maniac, had quit my job because
Oh, she done fell off. She got a phone call again. She said she just quit her job. I quit mine too. I quit mine shortly after I started, but it it what you call it? It was worth it. I to me anyway. I definitely would not go back. It. I to me anyway. I definitely would not go back. She done jumped off. She done jumped off. We got bad reception tonight. Oh, you quit your job too?
Oh,
I was like, I'm betting on me. I'm betting on me.
yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. It said that I was disconnected by the host, so I don't know.
I
It
don't
might be my
know. You,
service. I don't
my
know.
hand. I
I'm
need to get.
I'm out here in Birmingham, with the trees and everything. So it just might be the mountains and all of that. But yeah, I do not, and I tell everybody, don't quit your job. If I don't
If
care. Don't quit that. Do not quit
I
that
I
job,
quit. I ain't
okay?
gonna lie. I quit mine. I quit mine, and you know what's crazy is I feel like I waited too long. Like I feel like I probably should have been did it. And
Okay.
I was a police officer for about 16 years.
Okay.
But when I came over to transportation and people, like it was automatic. Like I already was in a service type of job. And
Right.
so it was, my career was already in providing service and knowing how to talk to people and being, courteous. I already understood that. So it was a really easy transition now. It was a couple of months where I was like, girl, you might need to go to apologize to people. But then I remembered I didn't get in mofos no 2 week
2 week
notice.
notice. You was just like, I'm out of here.
I did not.
Yes,
I feel like 2 week notice is overrated. I didn't give
it
one,
is. Especially
and
when you know that you're not going back no matter what.
yeah, I was like, I ain't going
Yeah,
back. I'll
it
probably
gets
I'm
like that.
not going back. But
Yeah.
so when you started, I was telling somebody, he said effective immediately.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you this joke. I saw it on TikTok today when I was scrolling. This person had a sympathy card. Was they was they noticed it was a sympathy card. That thing was so funny to
To the
me.
job.
Oh Lord! Oh goodness! That was fun. That was so funny to me. I
Yes,
said,
I'm
"Man,
sorry. You
that's
know what's
innovative."
crazy is because I came here. Let me see. Hold on.
I came here from DC, and I just wanted to take a year off and not work at all. I saved all my money up. I paid all my bills up. Everybody at my job was like, "So what exactly are you moving to do?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there, but I'm not working for nobody else." And that's all I knew. And everybody, even my son orthodontist, he was like, "You'll be back in 6, 7 months," And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna push through." And so I did end up going back to work. That's how I ended up working in the social worker role. I
Mm-hmm.
did because I like to spend money, and it is what it is. But I ended up going back to work, and so that's how I ended up in the social worker role. And I feel like that was just part of my journey. But
Mm-hmm.
with my startup, I was, even though I quit my job, I was not totally without income, because I do know it have other ways to make money. So I wasn't totally without income, but that would have definitely helped with the insurance.
Right.
That would have, at least covered the insurance. So that my startup costs, I say that my dad helped me a lot with my down payment for my vehicle. Somebody just asked what kind of van I start with. I got a Dodge Caravan minivan.
Yeah, I
Um
started with cars.
yeah.
I started with a Nissan Altima, and I had a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck.
Okay. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So is that where the courier part came in at, or did you start the courier part further down the line?
I did them kind of simultaneously. Like when I got my Medicaid number, was crazy. People don't believe I got my Medicaid number with my personal cars. Like
Okay.
I didn't purchase, but then I was still kind of working with um Amazon Flex, where you could use
Okay.
your personal car. But the my pickup truck was a dual cab. So
Okay.
the downside, of course, is when I had older people, they would struggle
Oh,
to
to
kind
get
of
into
get in the
get
truck.
into the truck.
But then the Nissan Altima sit low, So then they be plopping down, and so
Right.
when I finally got my first minivan, like it was way better because they just
Yeah.
kind of get in.
Yeah.
But I didn't I didn't purchase vehicles till like probably almost 2 years in.
Yeah. I've had that same van for going on 4 years now. Um, I just got a wheelchair van back in July.
Oh yeah, I saw the
Um,
video. Well,
yeah, I
some
got that van back in July, and I got it painted. I got it lettered. It took me a while to get it. With the insurance, had to save up because not only is the insurance high, not only is the premium high, but you got to pay a down payment for every vehicle that you add. That down
listen.
payment is like $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah,
So
my
you got
down
to get
payment
them
was
$3,000-$4,000, and then you got to pay your premium every month. So, I
it
like
was
I
a
said,
lot.
I got that back in July. I didn't even really get it on the road until maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Cause like I said, I was had to get it painted, letter, the insurance, all of that stuff. So
So
yeah.
when you
But
got your
that I just
you
got that.
you when you got your wheelchair, I'm looking at I want to add wheelchair services this year.
Hmm.
So when you got your wheelchair, I know that it's a certain training that you have to attend or at least learn how to secure the wheelchairs. Did you have to get like a certificate or you just kind of know somebody that trained you on how to secure the wheelchairs?
It's a combination of both. Now, with my experience, I already knew how to do the wheelchairs,
Okay.
because it was my job to make sure that the drivers had the people strapped in correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So I already knew that. But also through networking through a local company, they let me sit in on their certification class that they have for their drivers.
Um,
So, yeah, that worked out.
that worked
Um,
out
so
good.
right now I'm the one that I do all the wheelchair rides because I'm actually looking for a class that I can put my drivers in and they can operate the wheelchair. So you do definitely want to make sure that you have all the certificates and everything that you need. But yes, I already had the knowledge on how to lock
How
in
to do it.
wheelchairs, load them up and do all of that. But then just like I said, it was who I knew in this situation and they let me sit in on the certification class for their drivers. So,
The networking, man. You talk see how you
yes,
talk about that journey and networking, and that's why when people say it's just driving and taking people to the doctor,
it's not.
listen, you want those same people that you take to their appointments, you want them to be able to tell somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
but you also want them to come back
Yes, and take
every
them
month
wherever they need to go.
wherever they need to go.
I'm trying to get me a passenger van in a little bit because my people want to go to the casino. They like, I want to go to the casino. I want to do this, and I'm like, okay, well, let me look in again, y'all,
Let
to the
me
casino. Because hey, you like you said, you want to keep these customers coming
you want to
back.
keep the customers coming.
Yeah.
It was somebody I was just talking to like a couple of weeks ago, and they were we were talking about the casino because in Charlotte they just got a casino,
Okay.
and I was like, so I need to really look at that because some of the assisted living facilities that I work with, I'm pretty sure them elderly people want to go to the casino.
Yes, and guess what? A lot of people they not gonna want to pay to go to the doctor. Okay, they gonna try to use their insurance. They gonna try
Right.
to hassle and bargain. Let you say you going to that casino. Oh, they gonna get that
They
money
got
up.
listen.
So don't think
They
that just
pulling out
because
money for
somebody
everybody.
exactly don't think just because somebody don't have it to go to the doctor that they not gonna come up with it to go somewhere else. A lot of people they don't want to reach out to certain communities. They don't want to go. They say, "Oh, that's not
Mm-hmm.
my customer. That's not my customer." You don't know who your customer is. you know, your customer could put you on to their relative. And their relative, you might be taking them, they might be using Medicaid or, another insurance, but
Mm-hmm.
then they might like you so much that their relative who has the income to pay your rates and has no problem, they might say, hey, you know what? This person right here, somebody said she was sure they gonna pull that money for the wig. Okay, they gonna go under the mattress. They gonna ask their
Listen,
grandbabies, their
I'm talking
daughters,
about
their sons,
under the
all of that.
wig,
Yes,
out the bra. They pulling
they
it
gonna do
out
that.
like they gonna pay, but
They
they
gonna do
go
that to
back
get
to
to that casino.
people pay. I feel like that's just like anything else. People pay for what they want to pay for.
Yeah.
So when people say that they don't want to pay your rate or your rate is too expensive, then to me, you just not my customer. I'm not offended when I tell you what the bill
Yeah.
is or how much it's gonna cost, and you say, well, can the price be adjusted? No. And, when you can pay it, then you can call me.
Yeah. And there's no hard feelings.
There's
And
no
I'll
hard
lock your number in my phone and everything. So I know it's you when you call back. And I say, hey, Miss So-and-so, you know,
feelings.
hey, Mr. So-and-so, is no problem. It's
No
no problem.
problem.
Because for every person that tell me that I'm too much, I got probably 2-3 other people that's like, that's all,
That's
you know,
all.
or you sure?
That's
Did you
all.
double check that? You
Where I
know?
need to pay the invoice.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah. Can you
people
send the
that will
link?
go
Just send the
back and
link.
forth,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, well, I'm gonna talk to such and such. I think that's kind of steep. Okay, well, check around. You know what I'm saying? And then,
Because I've done my
a
research and you
couple of
gonna call
hours
back.
later, they calling back saying, I'm just
You
gonna
are the
go.
better option. Yeah.
I am the best. My prices are. You ain't gonna get no cheaper. Like, but I think people, when you think about private pay, and when new entrepreneurs, or if you're trying to scale your business and you think about private pay, like, people really get scared about it, and they say, well, how do I get, because I know we in different Facebook groups, and you see the question all the time, like, okay, what are the state requirements, and I want to get into private pay. And so I did a video because I was like, well, your state requirements and private pay ain't the same thing.
Don't have
I
anything to do with each
mean,
other.
they don't have nothing to do with each other, and state requirements and even you starting your business is not the same thing, because what the state, I just try to tell people whatever the state requirements are when it comes to insurance and stuff. Um, like, I just say, if you stick with the state requirements, you good. Like, if your state requirement is 1,500,000
Go
in
ahead and get that.
liability, then you should go ahead and get it. That way you covered. But it's no regulations on private clients. Like, it's no checklist, but you gotta do the work. Like, you gotta do
You
the
got to do the
marketing,
work.
and you gotta get out. And I feel like marketing, I market every day. Like, marketing is all day, every day, whether it's, wrapping your vehicle, whether it's t-shirts,
Yeah.
whether it's social media, whether it's going and physically talking to these medical facilities and hospitals. But like you said before on one of your videos, I was telling somebody, I said, I think you told me about bingo, because I was like, oh man, I was getting in private pay, and you was like, girl, you think about them bingo halls. And so when you mention stuff like that to people when it comes to private pay, people are so stuck on doctor's appointments. And if you get outside the box, or just throw the box away and think about any place where people need to go: grocery store, casino, bingo. You can market anywhere. I kind of stay away
Anywhere.
from I stay away from nursing homes, but I do go to like assisted living and senior facilities. But
Okay.
I kind of stay away. Only reason why I stay away from nursing homes, because I kind of feel like nursing homes, I would need a wheelchair. I feel like a lot of their customers need more than ambulatory, or more than my van can handle. So I really kind of stay um away from nursing homes.
All my rides from nursing homes are wheelchairs. I haven't done any ambulatory rides with a nursing home at all yet.
Yeah, I feel like, because when you say nursing home, when people say, well, you can market to nursing homes and dialysis clinics and all these other things, but dialysis clinic to me, one, is like, not, I feel like that 80%, in my experience, 80% are Medicaid clients. And so you got to figure out a wiggle around for that. But then nursing homes, like, if they're at a nursing home, the chances are very high that they need somebody with them. Like they you
Yes.
know what I'm saying? They need somebody, they need some extra attention that is a service that I don't provide. Not right now, though.
Right. Yes. A lot of the, well, with the trips that I do for the nursing homes, either I've had the staff ride with me, I've had somebody, from the
Mm-hmm.
facility ride with me, and then I've had them send the person on their own, but then when I get to the appointment, their family member is there with them to go to the
Mm-hmm.
appointment, and then they'll call me when they're done, and then I come and pick them up. So, but yes, I make it very, very clear, and this is another thing to anybody that's interested in getting into this: you have to ask questions. One of the
Yep.
things that I did not take into consideration, like, these, when you do get a wheelchair lift, when you do get a wheelchair van, if you have a lift, you got to make sure that you're asking, how much does this person weigh? Does this person weigh more than, I think mine is 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
um
Oh.
it might be 350. I need to double check that, but I just say 300 just to be on the safe side.
Right. Right.
um but yeah, because you don't want to get out there and you done already, they done paid for the trip, and and all this and all that, and you get out there and you like, this person is 500 pounds, because that can happen. And what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna break your lift to get them on the van? No, it's, and then now that's a wasted trip. You wasted your gas, your time. That was another slot that somebody else could have been in. So you have to ask questions when people are booking appointments too.
So when you
Things like
ask,
that. But huh?
so do you have, so when people, when, so like for me, if somebody, if it's a person that wants to book, a lot of times they go to my website. But if somebody calls and says, I want to go to, I live here in Birmingham, but I want to go to the next city over. Do you calculate it on the phone with them? Do you call them back? What are some of the questions that you ask them, other than like their name, address, where?
I asked, okay, so again, like you said, knowing your customer is important,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because when I first got started, I was just anxious to take anybody. I didn't really care where they was going. I was just trying to get them in the van, and I was excited, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take you from here to here, and
Right,
no problem, and then because I said I want to serve people 50 or older, but then I found myself taking people that were not. Now I make the exception for dialysis because dialysis affects different age groups, but
right.
everybody else. So the first thing I ask: are you 50 or older? Do
Somebody
you live?
asked that. Yeah, somebody asked that. Why did you say 50 or older?
Oh, okay. So why do I say 50 or older? Because when I was working for as a social worker, my job was to coordinate the transportation,
Mm-hmm.
and well, that was part of my job. But what happened is that I noticed that it was people 50 and older that needed the transportation the most. If you think about it, people 50 and older, they have probably adult children, no children. They might live in a whole nother state from their family. Um, Maybe they don't want to drive. I actually have customers that have vehicles, but they don't like to drive. They don't want to pay for the parking. They don't like to deal with traffic, things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And so 50 and older also, you don't really have to worry about too many things, like somebody trying to get over on you, or people being rude, trying to fight you or argue with you, and all of that. It's like you want to eliminate. I eliminate a lot
You
of
eliminated a whole lot of factors.
unnecessary stress.
But that makes sense. I never thought about, so. But what's interesting is that you already, even with your elevator pitch and in your business model, like you already have decided who your customer is.
Hmm.
So you don't have to. Some people wonder about who their customer is, because even though you transport people, everybody is still not your customer.
No.
Like you, if I don't take brokers or Medicaid, then those Medicaid clients aren't they're not my customers. I'm
Hmm.
focused on the people that can pay my rate with
Hmm.
no problem.
Hmm.
And for me, that means I got to go to a different side of town.
Yes. Yes. Different Facebook groups, all cities have those. What's going on in this city? what's going on in this town. You know, you want to go and you want to join those groups where
Yeah.
that these people, these people are going to be your ideal customer. And when I say ideal customer, you pretty much want to say, who is your ideal customer? What do they look like? What is
Mm-hmm.
their age? What do they do? Where do they go? Do they have family? Do they not have family? Are they likely to have a car? Things like that.
Because
And so,
if they don't have family, like especially the assisted living facilities, a lot of them that have their rent or their expenses are high, but a
mhm,
lot of them don't have family. Like they don't
mhm,
have, they can drive, like
yeah,
they're alert enough to drive, but they don't have family, and so
mhm.
that's where we slide in, and we like, dun, 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 dun,
And guess
we
what? The people with family, their family are my customers too.
are
So
your
not
customers
only am
too.
I advertising to the 50 and older, I'm advertising to their children that are working all day, that don't want to, that either don't want to take off of work, or they cannot take off work. Or they just,
Right.
they can't take off work because it's going to affect their
It's
money,
gonna affect they job.
or because they have a boss that don't let them off work,
I'm
or they
trying.
work for a
I'm
company
so,
that doesn't offer
I'm so glad
FMLA
you
or
said
something.
that. Like
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was just talking in that live webinar I did, and I was talking about getting clients. So people are so focused on when you first starting. They focus on getting behind the person behind the desk.
Mhm.
Like when you walk into like a foot doctor or a gastro doctor or something like that, and you go in, most people mindset is to go straight to the people behind the desk. Like I want to talk to you because I can contract with you. But I rotate that too, because you gotta think about the people that's sitting in the waiting room and the people that's out there smoking the cigarettes and sitting in their van. Those my customers too. And so if
Really.
you think about, like, okay, well, dad, she out here smoking. She probably mad. She gotta take off work, and it has
Mhm.
happened where I'll go and I'll switch it up, and I'll go and give flyers out or talk to people, and I just spark up a conversation,
Mhm.
and they'll be like, man, yeah, my son, like a ortho doctor, like, yeah, my son hurt himself playing football, and I gotta take off work. Well, you ain't gotta.
Right. You don't have to. Right.
You ain't
Exactly.
gotta.
Because you know what? A lot of people don't know what non-emergency medical transportation is. And so I
Right,
started to say that earlier. When you say NEMT, a lot of people are like, well, what's that? And that's a conversation starter. So it's
right.
it's okay to say NEMT, because now they're going to say, well, what's that? A lot of people don't know that it's a benefit in their insurance, not just Medicaid, but Blue Cross, Blue
Blue
Shield,
Cross.
United Healthcare. It's a benefit of it, and they don't even know that.
That's true.
And so what you can say is that, like you said, reaching out to the people. I
Mm-hmm.
used to, how you can go into the parking areas, the parking lots, and they give you like 10 minutes free before they start charging you.
Mm-hmm.
I would go in, get a ticket, note the time. Okay, I got 10 minutes. So I'm gonna put my time on 9 minutes, and I'm gonna go around this whole parking lot, and I'm gonna see people walking back and forth from the parking lot to the doctor's office.
Yep.
And I'm gonna stop them in the parking lot and say, um, hey, I'm in my van. I got my shirt on. Hey, I'm sorry. I just want to introduce you. I just want to give you my information. I just want to introduce myself. I want to
Right.
give you my information. I own this company. I see that you're taking your person, to the doctor. Call me. You don't have to do the, just something just real quick, because I'm working
Real
on nine
quick.
minutes here.
You ain't got to.
Yeah. So, and then I go back out. We want to keep the calls low. So I go back
But
out
you see how
before that time.
creative you
But
gotta
that's
be.
work.
You gotta be creative.
You got to be
I
creative.
think it's being. That's why I say, just if you think about just throwing the box away. So even when you first starting and you do your research, if you already got in your head like, oh, I'm just gonna be taking people to the doctor, like you already behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
Because if we sitting here talking about, shoot, you can get a van and take people to the casino. I hadn't done it yet. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
We're gonna
go
do
to
it
the
in
bingo
23.
hall.
We're gonna do it in 23.
I'm gonna go to the bingo hall and sit up in there. because it's people on here, grandma probably sitting at the bingo hall and she need a ride.
All
And I'm
day
gonna be
long.
right there.
And you think
All
that
day.
grandson won't get up at 1 o'clock in the morning when she done and go pick her up, you know? Just think, 10 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning, because the bingo halls open 24/7,
They open late,
and
yeah.
that's a wheelchair gold mine. I mean, you
Listen.
should see the wheelchair vans, lined up outside. They literally have vans that come from facilities dropping people off at bingo,
At the
church.
bingo.
Yeah,
At
you can take people
bingo,
to church on
church.
Sundays.
Like, I had a lady call me last week. In fact, it was right before Christmas, and she needed a ride to go stay with her family for the holidays.
Yeah.
And I called her when she called me, I told her what the rate was, and she said, "Well, that's a little steep." I said, "Well, that's the
It's
rate."
the holiday. This
Because
is my
and what she
special
wanted
rate,
to do was she wanted me to take her before Christmas and come back and get her. So that's a whole extra fee because
Yeah.
I'm coming back home and you want me to come back. So I said that's like 4 trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you gotta pay for that.
You
I
got to
said,
pay for that.
but
And it's a
she was
personalized
struggling with
ride.
that.
Like, I got XM radio in the car. I got, you going,
Right.
my customers control the temperature in the car. The other day, it was raining and it was kind of cold. And my customer was like, "Can you please turn the air on?" I had the air off, and he was like, "Can you turn the air on?" And I was like, "Oh, he want the air on, but this is my customer, and he private pay, So if he want the air on, and I was just in there, I had my mask on, and I was just like, my teeth was like clicking, because I was so cold.
He was cold.
But I was like, hey, my customers are the boss. If they want the air on, they want the air on. What I asked them, I make a note of asking them on their first ride, what kind of music you like to listen to, and then I make a note of what kind of like I said, it's Sirius XM. I make a note of what kind of music they like, and next time they get picked up, I'm already gonna have a station on.
I don't do all that. Now listen.
I'm telling you, and guess what? The Sirius XM sends it's like every 6 months. They like, oh, give 6 months for $5 a month.
Yeah.
I'm jumping on that, So
Man,
it's cool.
no, I
Yeah.
don't. I definitely I ain't gonna lie.
She said she got TV screens for movies. I was thinking about TV screens too.
I was about to say, now I do have TV screens. My van is a 14, so it has DVDs. So like I've had people that I take, and they ride might be a little bit longer, and I'll push the screen down. But listen, I ain't thought about you get Kirk Franklin, you get Jesus all day in my.
Okay.
Like, you get, because now it depends on if it's late in the afternoon. I might play a little old school R&B or something. But then I got to be careful. Like, it might be the wrong cuss word or something there. So I don't want to offend nobody. So they get Jesus in the car with me all the time. But I definitely make sure I keep like bottled water, little mints. You know what I'm saying? I give them a little, a little something when they leave. Like if it's a little bag that just says my card, my pen.
Everybody seen my goodie bags. Yep.
But it helps. That stuff, people like little stuff like that. Like they want to feel like
on
you thought
Sirius
about
XM, they have, because remember, my people are like 50 years old and older, right? So on Sirius XM, they have a station where they play all 70s and 80s R&B. Okay, so that's safe. They're gonna play. It's no cussing.
A little bit of
they're gonna be like, "Dang, I haven't heard this song in a long time." Okay,
They be back there
that's
singing.
the station that I keep it on. That's the default station. But if it's somebody that's kind of younger, I know they don't want to listen to that. So I'll turn on. They have a station called The Heat, I think it is, and they play more recent songs, but it is edited.
Edited.
So it's different thing. You can play around with it, but yes, I would definitely say, I would love. They be like, "Ooh, I love your radio."
I listen to I'm playing Kirk Franklin or some upbeat type of gospel. I do a little Luther Vandross station here and there. You know what I'm saying? But then I get some clients, child, you pay them old school R&B, and they be back there singing.
Yes. Yes.
I've had New Edition playing, and me and the client back there jamming. We like cool it down, and we just like.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes.
I do that. I mean, I feel like when you give them that experience, then they're gonna come back and they're gonna tell other people. And so private pay is not as hard. I don't think it's hard. It's just work. Like it's
work. You gotta go out
work.
and get the clients. It's
You
work
gotta get
to
the clients, but
you gotta hit that pavement.
And you but to be able to cut the middleman out,
it's worth it.
It's worth it to me.
It's worth it.
Definitely. Oh, look at
MJ.
They
yes, those are my girls right there.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all doing it out there too. Anybody in California, I recommend. I say, oh no, y'all gotta go with MJ. Y'all gotta get with MJ. Reliable transportation. I love it. I just love to see women working together. Like it's a like a stigma that they say that women can't work together. You know, women don't support each other. Women are haters. But I have not run into this in this industry. I've run into it in other industries. I've run into it on other jobs that I've had. But in this industry, I love like how we just connect. Like you said in the beginning, that the TikTok follow train, we've been doing that. We've been doing that since last year. Like I'm like, okay. And then can I speak on that real quick? Let me just and it's no shade. It's no shade. But this is a good a business tip. When you're trying to build your followers online, it is better to interact and have people that are going to interact with you instead of just following you and just trying to get a follow back. You want people that are going to watch your videos. You want people that are going to click your links. You want people that are going to refer people to you. You want people that are going to support you. You know, I'd rather have 500 followers that support me and really, really happy for me and is going to, than 10,000 followers and then I end up with 15 views on my videos, or no, something
I'm not
like
a fan of it. I haven't. My following and my engagement has grown organically.
Yes.
Like I'm not a fan of the fad or I'm not knocking it. Like if I see somebody video that makes sense and I like it and I look at it all the way, I click on it. I just think if I click on everybody's stuff, then I'm gonna miss the stuff that I really want to see.
Exactly. And I don't want people to get offended if I don't follow them, back or something like that. But really, the TikTok algorithm is like top tier. Okay, so I want to follow people that I can learn from, that I can, that are going to feed my mind, keep me encouraged. That's what I want in my timeline. Now I do have a personal page, and that's where I'm following Santana and Young Miami and all of them, because I'm following all of them, but on my business pages, I keep it business because if I'm following you, it's because I either support you, because I did go through the follow train and I did follow some women, in the beauty industry and, stuff like that. But for the most part, I want my algorithm to be people I can learn from and that I can interact with.
That you can learn from. I follow but even if you have a business, like if you are a Black woman and you have a business, I'm probably going to follow you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow you, and I'll go through and watch, the videos. I just think I just know for me, I just don't want a whole lot of people that's not supportive. It's like when you go through your Facebook page or your IG, and you might have a lot of followers and friends, but are they really supporting?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's better to clear out the people that's not being supportive. And make room for the people that's gonna be supportive.
Guess what? On my Facebook page, my business page, I maybe got like 5 family members on there because it's no point. They are not my customers. They might support me, but they're not my, they're not my customers. They're not going to
Right.
share my information. They're not going to do any of that, for one, because they're in another state. They might share it as support, and I appreciate it, but it's no hard feelings. I'm not mad at, I don't even expect them to do that.
Right.
Just I don't see a point in it. And so I'm telling, I keep, if I follow you on social media, it's because I like your content, I support you, and I want to see more of you. And I see a lot of people, they follow me, and it's like I have a lot of my customers that follow me here on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
And I don't follow them back just because, it's a boundary there.
Yeah.
I want to put that boundary there. But also,
like, listen,
it's like, you got to keep that algorithm tight.
Oh, you welcome. So somebody asked, how do you? So that was gonna be my next question. I'm gonna let you go. How do you determine your rates for your private clients, and then I'll say how I do mine.
Okay. I do it three different ways. So for the first thing I did was I called around to local companies and pretty much like I was scheduling a ride and see what they're charging. And just to see, okay, what are they charging to go from here to here,
Right,
10-mile radius or something like that, just to get an idea. The second thing is, and I think this is the most important way and should be the first way that you do it, is that you look at your overhead. You look at your overhead, you look at how much you need to make a month. How much do you need to make a month to pay all your bills? Period. And make a profit. But just to start out with paying all your bills, how can you cover that overhead?
Right.
And then the third way is no, let me finish that thought. You want to add up all your bills. You want to look at your overhead. You want to figure out how much do you need to make a month, and then you want to break that down. How much do I need to make a week? How much do I need to make a day? How many people do I really need to get? How many trips do I need to do? Blah blah blah. And then the third way would be to estimate using Uber or Lyft, fee prices, and just compare. If you feel as though, but I will say that when it comes to pricing, remember, this is your time. This is your, you missing out on family stuff. You missing out on parties. You missing out on your social life. You missing out on, and not saying that people should pay for that, but that is your time. Time actually is the most.
Time is money.
Time is money.
Time is money.
Your maintenance for your vehicles. You gotta pay for gas every day. You have to pay, if you got drivers, you got to pay your drivers. You got to maintenance.
Maintenance is
a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother
oil changes. You ain't going 3 months without no oil change. You doing oil changes really every 3 weeks probably.
I do it every month.
Yeah.
I do it kind of. I do mine. So my pricing, when I first started, I did the cab, the checking the cab, Uber, and then I would call around, to see what other people were charging. And so then I thought about, well, that's kind of, it might be a little old, because when I thought about it, I was like, I don't know how they came up with that rate. How you came up with that? So the three people, my three, I don't want to say competition, but the other three people, that I might have called, and they gave me their rates, but I don't know how you came up with it. So then I said, okay, well, this is how I'm gonna calculate mine. So similar to what you were saying, I think about my overhead and my expenses, but I first think about how much I want to make a month. So if I say the magic number is 10K a month, if you say you want to make 10K a month, how you gonna make 10K a month? And so I worked backward. I said, okay, I divide my 10K into my 30 days, 31 days, and then I break it down into hours. So I know this is telling me I need to make, if you want to make 10K, you need to make $333 a day. And so when people say 10K, it might sound like a lot of money, but that ain't a lot of money. I ain't even gonna lie. 10K ain't a lot of money. Because if your expenses is half of that, I'm talking about insurance, maintenance, gas. If it's half of that, then you left with maybe 5K a
Mm-hmm.
month. And so
Or
I
taxes.
and then you got taxes. So I just use 10K as an example, but you really have to focus on. That's what made me really focus on quality clients
Mm-hmm.
and leave the quantity alone. So you might can get a trips with brokers, but I need quality trips because Sandy over here, she might make the same amount of money or close to it a day that I make. So she might make 300, 300 something dollars a day, but she might have did 7 trips. Like she might have got up at 5 o'clock and she might work till 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Whereas I done did 4 trips
Yeah.
and I done made my money and then some.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about, to me, when I started focusing on what I wanted to make in my business a month and minus my expenses, then it made me focus on quality private clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I weaned myself. And I still work with a broker, but I hadn't taken a trip in like 3 months probably because they don't pay. They ain't
Yeah.
paying. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
You want to
but you have,
and I don't want that spot. I want to leave space for my private
yeah.
pay clients. I don't
I
want to
got
be booked up when they call me,
no, and that whole
because
being booked up is overrated.
right, I'm gonna get that, that day or before, and I'm gonna be done and I'm gonna get my money, and that's that. But yeah, that's really that's important. I think that's the how much do you want to make?
How much do you want to
How
make?
much
Because
do you want to make?
if you don't know that number, you can call to me anyway. You can call the cabs. You can call around to other providers all day. But if you don't know what you want to make or what you need to make your business profitable and to scale it, because you might like you might want to, your plan may be to buy another van
Mm-hmm.
or purchase some software, but if you stuck on making pennies, and I'm gonna say pennies with working with a broker, if you stuck on
Yes.
that, then that's all you're gonna be able to do is what you're
Yep.
doing. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I ain't trying to just do that. I'm trying to not be driving as much and
Yes.
higher
Work
and get to
smart,
the point
not
where
hard.
I'm trying to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So if somebody said, could I give an example of a broker rate? If my example, and that's for different states.
Mm-hmm.
So what Alabama may pay may be different. In North Carolina, I'm gonna say if my rate is my if for example if my rate is $40, a broker is gonna want to pay me $25. If my per mile rate is $3, a broker gonna want to pay me $2.25.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't. I'm not knocking the broker because they got to make their money.
Right.
And Medicaid and insurance companies have decided that they don't want to do the legwork when it comes to billing and all of this. They want another company to do that for them, and that's where the brokers come in. So I ain't knocking the hustle of the brokers, but I'm for me, it just don't work.
Right. And I would agree with that. Now I've heard, because I don't know, but I've heard that here is like for 7 to 10 miles or 7 to 14 miles, it's like $7 or something like that. And Medicaid, they give you just a flat $20 per trip. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's no matter how far you going. That's for 40
Mm.
miles or that's for 5 miles, And so
Yo,
me,
that's
I
crazy.
don't do, yeah, that's crazy. And so I now dialysis, it's they'll give you like a few hundred per person a month,
Hmm.
So that's like a lump sum that you getting,
Right.
at the month. So if you taking 5 people to dialysis, and I'm just throwing this out there because it varies.
Right.
But if you getting paid $300 per person, and you got 5 people, technically that's $1,500 a month that you can be bringing in off dialysis. Now that's still not anywhere near my rate.
That's
it's
it. That I don't
it's not.
understand. Like that's what is mind boggling to me. Like the fact that the rates when you start and you decide that you want to contract with a broker, I tell people all the time, y'all better read the fine print.
Yeah.
Read them contracts thoroughly.
Yes.
But they don't want to negotiate those rates.
And they're not
Unless you
going
got
to.
wheelchairs a little different, like you know, but the brokers for ambulatory, like
They're
when they
nothing.
whatever their rate is, that's what they sticking to. Like they don't wanna budge.
And they're not going to. I don't know any brokers. Now, I will say that when I was working for a broker, it was to the point where I didn't even have to buy, I didn't even have to bring money for lunch, breakfast, nothing. Because those providers are bringing donuts, breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
lunch, all of that. They bringing cakes. They doing all of that because they want to get the trips. They want to get,
Right,
so it's
right.
like that.
And
Then
I
you
knew
working against
that.
that. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. That is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you said that because I know a provider in High Point, and they said she said, how did she say it? She said, I just go and talk to them. I just go up there and talk to them, and they pay her rate. Like they and so I'm like, well, how is that happening? And that's because certain providers get the pick of the litter. Like they get what they want. They
Because and
because they
I'm gonna keep it real. When I was at the broker, I mean, you had the women owners that was, the regional director. He was handsome, and all of that,
right.
and he knew that, and he, it was like you would see them coming in and out, and all of a sudden we having a staff meeting, and they like, okay, give these rides to this person. Now us on the outside, we don't know that, so we sitting up here and we getting these vans, and we like, okay, I got all my paperwork together. You don't know that it's already 5 providers that they gonna feed all those trips to, and now after they get all their trips, now they gonna send you the trips that's going an hour away. That's that's doing all of this. They gonna get the pick of the litter, you know and
Crazy to me.
that's just how the game go, and so what I do is
I guess I
I'd
never
rather
got
buy
into the
lunch
broker.
for the
Mm-hmm.
doctor's offices. I'd rather buy lunch
Right.
for where they having the surgeries. I'd rather do that because then they're going to say, okay, well, here's a company. The
Right.
dialysis centers, they told me that they cannot tell people who to ride with. But I've heard from several people that they were given a list of providers, and I'm at the top, and they have like a star by my name, and they're like, we
See that
can't tell
but
you, but
we can't
hey,
tell you who to
call
ride with,
Camden Transport,
but
see if they can help you. We can't tell you who to ride with,
but wait,
and I
wait.
appreciate that.
Yeah, but that's all about I
Networking.
really that's like 75% of it. Because if you sit in your van, and even if you decide to work with brokers, you better use the brokers to your advantage
Yes.
and get out your vehicle. And when you go to the dialysis clinics and when you go to these medical facilities, go in and talk to the people
Yeah.
because they probably have a provider list that you can figure out how to be added to. And instead of you having this client through the broker, you could have that and plus other clients through
Exactly.
that
Through
pay you direct.
and then guess what? If you make a relationship with a social worker, that social worker might leave that facility, but they're going to remember you when they go to the next facility, and they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
call you.
Yep.
Here in Birmingham, you might have one social worker that's working 3 different facilities. That I have a few a few social workers that they work at different facilities. So they do like a rotation, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll say, hey, each facility, is you just gotta, but that's work. That's work. When I'm
It's
dropping
really
people
work.
off and I'm carrying their bags in there, and I'm like, and I'm speaking to
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the waiting room. hey, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. This week is Happy New Year,
Yeah.
everybody. How everybody doing? You know, and they like that because
Right.
they sitting in there. Nobody, I cannot imagine going to dialysis 3 times a week. You know, I really, really
Right.
empathize. So they sitting in there and they already don't want to go back there. It's early in the morning, you know. And then
Right.
I walk in and I'm like, hey, everybody, Happy New Year. How
Hey.
y'all doing today? You know, and I'm carrying their bag and I'm like, okay, you have a good one. We going to see you in a little bit, okay?
See
And
you in a little
everybody
bit.
else have a good one. And they going to say, and I see them looking at my van
Mm-hmm.
like, you know. And then
Hmm.
when I'm showing up on time and when I'm getting them there
That's it.
early, you know, things like that. People pay attention to
Yeah.
stuff like that.
People pay attention to that.
Yeah, they
People
pay
love.
attention to
People
stuff like
pay
that. And they like,
attention
oh, I
because
want to ride with you. You know?
but when you go back to when you think about your when you think about the pricing, so even though another company may charge the same, may charge what your old price was, and you said, okay, well, I'm gonna go based on this person price, but they're not offering the same service. They're
I
not
say
offering the
Camden
same customer service.
Transport is not a ride, it's an experience.
It's an experience.
From
So
beginning
then
to
they're gonna
end.
want to pay more, but they'll
They're
be
gonna want
willing.
to pay
People
more.
are willing to pay more because they. Oh, I see what you mean now about the experience. Because you can tell them, but until they ride with you
Mm-hmm,
and understand it and experience it, they're like, okay, girl, I get it. Okay, I
mm-hmm,
get it.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
that's what makes people want to continue to keep coming back. So when people say they don't want to do the work for private pay, I just feel like
You don't want to do the work, period.
you don't want to do the work.
You don't want to do the work, period.
Quality is important. Like I want quality. I don't want. I mean, and I recently, I guess the last couple of years, like pivoted to student transportation,
Yeah.
and that's just to me, student transportation is it's so easy.
Let me tell you
It's like
how
it's
many single mothers, how many mothers, because I mean, you can be married and still have all the
right.
responsibility fall on you for your kids. But I can't tell you how many mothers would love to know that their kids can be picked up from before and after care or from school and taken to before and after care, taken to their football games, taken to their karate classes, taken wherever.
All that,
And you think they're
all
not gonna
that
pay for
running
that?
around.
My son is 20 years
Yeah,
old,
pay for it.
but I would have scraped some money together to have them pick my son up.
Because you think about it, you got to get off work.
Yes.
Um,
Fight traffic, cook dinner.
you don't have to worry about traffic. Like, and when I tell people that I used to be like, I used to not do it, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody was like, "Yo, you tripping?" But now I start my conversation off when especially when I'm talking to parents.
Mm-hmm.
I start off that I was a police officer because
They feel
at the end
safe.
of the day, they feel like they can trust me and they don't even
Mm-hmm.
know me, and
Mm-hmm.
so they feel like their kids are in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I start my conversations off with that, then even with transporting people like adults, when I start off with that, that usually is that's like a star next to my name because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, well, we know that you know how to drive, you know how to be safe,
Mm-hmm.
we know you're gonna get them there on time. Like we
Mm-hmm.
get that, so people are more willing to reach out to us. Like I love private pay. That's why I said
Yeah.
that's where I messed up at the beginning is where I didn't have a marketing plan and
Mm-hmm.
I would just like the brokers was it until I started seeing them little bullshit, them little BS tracks, and I was like,
Wait a
wait a
minute.
minute.
This ain't gonna work right here.
And then you get paid. You ride with when you drive for the broker, you get paid every 2 weeks, once a month, depending on if they did it right. And so I need my money
Yeah.
I need my money right then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it makes a big difference. And I appreciate the fact now that I've done the work, so I understand what it takes to get private
Yeah.
clients and keep private. Like you understand what it takes to keep them, because
Client
you can get them
retention.
all day, but
Mm-hmm.
if you can't keep them or keep them coming back,
Yeah.
you ain't doing a good job. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want them to be able to come back or tell other people
Until I pay,
about.
exactly. Exactly. That's the key, is to, get people to come back. How do you keep track of
Somebody
mileage?
said, I keep track of mileage.
Um,
It's
what's that app? QuickBooks,
my
but it's
square.
different. It's different apps that you can use that can track the mileage.
I
Actually,
use
another way that I
QuickBooks.
do is I have my drivers, when we start for the day, they write
Mm-hmm.
the starting mileage, and when they clock out, they
Mm-hmm.
write the ending mileage. And that's another way that I track. But yeah, QuickBooks,
It's a couple
things
of
like that.
apps, but
Yeah, it's a couple.
I
Yeah, somebody said
tried.
Stride. Stride is good too.
It's good, but I do the same thing. I do we do vehicle inspections. So in the morning, you have to. I mean, it might be a little bit extra, but I have a vehicle checklist,
Hmm.
and you go in and you fill it out, and you send it to me weekly, and so that way I can keep up with the mileage. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That works for me, but for me personally, I use QuickBooks like as I'm moving,
Yeah.
but everybody don't have QuickBooks, so
Yeah, I use QuickBooks also. Yeah.
I love Quick. Listen, I don't know what
QuickBooks,
y'all doing
I'm
out
like,
there.
ooh,
I don't know what
yes.
y'all doing out there for bookkeeping, but
Y'all better get some
I
QuickBooks.
tried
Y'all
it.
better get one of these.
Y'all been because I did the old school way. I had well, I'm saying like 3 years ago. I had like a
The ledger
profit
book.
loss spreadsheet, child.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
had the formulas in it. Now I thought I was doing something because you know what I'm saying. I had my formulas in there, but I tried QuickBooks before getting like a person to show me. So I was like, I don't need you. I don't need to pay $100. I got this. I can figure
Right.
this out, man. I tried that thing. I said no. So I stopped it.
Mhm.
And as I started growing, I was like, this spreadsheet ain't gonna work. And
Mm.
so I went back to QuickBooks, but I paid the $99 or the $100
Mhm.
for the person to show me,
Mhm.
and it's changed my life. Like
Yes.
what I know is if you in business and you don't have automation set up for your business, you're working hard,
You're
not
working
smart.
hard. Yeah.
You gotta have them automations and having systems in place. I know somebody asked about policies and procedures. Like you gotta have all that stuff done early in the game.
Everything. And that kind of goes back to what somebody asked when they said, "Well, do I have questions?" That I ask when somebody calls. And so, yeah, I have a whole process. I ask them those questions.
Mm-hmm.
I did have an intake form until I memorized the questions myself. Now I
Right.
memorize them and I know, and I can just shoot them off myself. But yeah, I would do an intake form.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had it on my website so that when people went to my website, because I got tired of people calling, and I go and I sit on the phone with them for 5-10 minutes and figure out that after I, like, oh well dang, I didn't ask them if they were 50 or older. I didn't ask them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's I memorized
That's
my questions.
important.
I asked that, but you need policies and procedures for everything. Even for your days that you're doing, like I got a procedure for Sundays when I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
my schedules and all of that, and
Mm-hmm.
what do I do on Sundays? I wake up, I review the schedule. What do you do every day? Daily activities.
I
We're
write down
confirming
daily
rides for the
tasks.
next day. We're doing, I have a customer satisfaction survey. So after 3 rides, I'm going to contact you and I'm going to ask you, well, how do
Right.
you like,
How you
how
doing?
did you like the service? Did the driver operate the vehicle safely? Things like that.
Right.
Everything, and that's the HR in me. And when I was working at HR, I wrote standard operating procedures. So that was my
But you
thing.
gotta have that stuff in
You
place because
got to, because
if
guess
not,
what? If you
you're gonna
get
wing it.
sick, somebody needs to
Who gonna
know
do it?
who gonna do
What
it.
to do? Who
Yeah,
gonna do it? You
yeah.
gotta have you gotta have I was just talking about this in my class, because this week we were talking about documents, and that was one of the things. Like, you got to have policies and procedures, but you also got to have SOPs.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have, even with working with the brokers at the beginning, like, I didn't have a protocol like when I went to pick you up as a client of the broker. So, the brokers don't call
Right.
and make sure to say you on the way. So I had a bunch of damn no shows and stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, I need a process.
You need a
So
process, yeah.
I need a process to say, okay, we're gonna call you 24 hours before your pickup. We're gonna confirm. We're gonna say, okay, the person that's picking you up is coming in this type of vehicle. If you have questions, call this number. When COVID happened, I did a process. Okay, you sick? Cause motherfucker, listen, you
You
ain't
ain't
getting up
getting up in
here.
here.
Don't come up here coughing and hacking up your whole life.
Yes.
Like, no, you gotta. And so I came up with, okay, a process to call. And even though I was still working with the broker, and they was like, well, Stephanie, you can't just not show up. Well, yes, I can. If the person don't answer the phone when we call the night before, and you don't answer the phone when we on the way, then we
Your
ain't
ride is
going.
being canceled. I'm not coming
You're not.
out there.
I'm not coming. But when you decide that you want to work with the brokers, they'll say, well, you got to go still. You got to sit there for 15 minutes.
And I hear that they don't even pay you for that 15 minutes.
They don't pay. They don't pay for no shows. They don't pay for wait time. And so when you think about your processes, you got to have a process in place. And like you were just saying, like, you got to have processes, because you might not be there. What, you gonna work every day?
Right. Exactly, for real.
You got.
Somebody said, what's the benefits of using QuickBooks? You can do invoicing.
We said the benefits. Who is that?
Did we? Okay, did we go over the?
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
But okay, I was gonna say, did we do that? But yeah, you can do invoicing. You can keep track of your customers, but the biggest benefit is at the end of the year when it comes to tax time.
Man,
You can export everything
just run a report
to your tax person. You run a report. You can email it to your tax person and be done.
Automation.
The only thing that you might have to do is get your receipts together, which I keep my receipts. I separate them in envelopes, gas, meals, expenses.
You can scan that.
Yeah, you can take a picture of the receipt when you get your gas. You snap a picture of the receipt. It uploads it. It matches it with the transaction once it clears your account, and you go, hey, you got your receipts. It's the best thing. It's the best thing
since sliced bread. Like, when I tell you, the fact that it connects, you can connect it to your accounts. So credit card,
your bank
debit
accounts,
card. And so as you swipe gas, whatever you do is going to show, and you have to go in. So I went in and set up, so if it says Exxon, Shell, whatever, then they know it goes under
fuel.
Fuel. If it says Firestone or whoever, then they know it's under vehicle maintenance. If it is a hotel or whatever, that means that it may be a training or some type of business trip. If it say Chick-fil-A, then that's my lunch while I'm driving. But it helps so much. So all I do is, like, every 2 weeks I go in and confirm, those transactions. But between that, not having to really keep up with receipts, because I was taking to my tax lady, I was taking her like envelopes of receipts, and she was like,
me too, showing up with a box of receipts.
She was like,
girl, what you got going on?
She said, I'm gonna need you to get QuickBooks for real. Like, you tripping, but you need to get QuickBooks. But I feel like it's again going back to what we said, automation and having systems in place. Like, because I don't want to. I ain't got time for no spreadsheet. Like, you might have time at the beginning, but as you grow,
as you go on,
you don't have time for no for spreadsheets. Somebody said, what type of insurance do I need to get? Yes, commercial. You can
commercial. Don't try to take shortcuts and say, oh, I'm just gonna get the max that I can get for my liability. I'm trying to tell you, shortcuts is just going to send you in a circle. And you're going to end up right back where you started
Don't
at
do it.
because you should have did. So, don't take shortcuts.
Don't take. I. You got you. I just feel like it go back to what we said. You have to remember, like you are transporting people. If you think about your family member riding with somebody that took shortcuts, so let's say your family member riding with somebody that didn't get an oil change for 4 months, or they riding with somebody that doesn't have any CPR training. Somebody that they had 2 DWIs because the employee didn't do no background check. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to think about it like that. If that was your family member, you would want somebody to have, you wouldn't want to take no shortcuts. That's the best way I can say it. So
Yeah,
that's how
I did a video about what I wouldn't 5 things I think I wouldn't do or I would do as an owner. And one of the things was saying that I'm not going to hire anybody with a background. And somebody commented and was like, "You're not perfect. Everybody messes up, even you, and all of that." And I was like, and that's true. And personally, there's a few things that I'm gonna judge you on, if you charge with it. But for real, I really don't care. It's not about me though. It's about my customers.
right,
We're going to people's houses. You have access to people's addresses. You have access to,
right,
their personal information. You are, I mean, I have people that
yeah,
they're like, "Oh, can you walk me in my house?" They don't want people, they want to know that I'm not hiring felons, and
right,
not all felons are bad people, but you have to think about the quality of your clients. You don't want something coming up, and then they're like, "Oh, the driver was in my house dropping my bag off and now something's missing," and then now, they coming at you like, "No, because your driver did this, or
mm-hmm.
my driver." Somebody told me, Lord, somebody told me that the driver had his girlfriend in the car for one. Not my driver. This is another company. Had the girlfriend in the car when he picked them up. They got to arguing during the ride, and I don't know if she tried to choke him or he tried to choke her during the ride while the
What?
person is in the thing. And I'm like, what? And so if you in this company, I'm not gonna of course say their name, but when I see their vehicles and I see the drivers, and I'm just like, I want my drivers clean cut. You're not wearing just anything, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We are a quality company. It is a privilege to ride with Campton
Right.
Transport. All of this, the stuff that I'm going in, Christmas time, I'm buying gifts,
Right. Chris
holidays, all
mailing
of
out.
this.
Listen, we out here mailing Christmas cards.
Yes, we out here mailing Christmas cards, birthday cards,
Yeah.
doing all of this. You think I'm about to just get any old body, no, it is a privilege to ride with Campton Transport. And so all of these things go hand in hand. And so when I'm picking
Mm-hmm.
people to work for me, I have to take that into consideration. I want somebody
Yeah.
that knows how to hold conversation. Somebody told me in an interview, "Well, I don't really like talking to people like that."
Oh.
And my motto is safe, reliable, and friendly. And you came
Bruh.
up in an interview and told me you don't like talking to people like that?
But why would you even say that? And even if
Why
you,
would you say that to begin
why
with,
would you
even if
say
that's the
that
truth?
on your interview? Because I'm
Why would
thinking
you even
like
say that?
it's times I don't really like people, but I ain't gonna be like, hey, I mean, today I ain't really effing with you. Like, just get in like,
Yes.
why would you say that
Why would
anyway
you even
on an
say
interview?
that you don't like that? I don't really be talking like that.
No,
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
I appreciate your
Somebody said,
honesty. Thank you.
good Lord. Somebody said, how long did it take you to have everything situated and running and making money? Um, that's on you. Like I honestly, like I think my situation, like when she started and how we started and the process on when we might have started making money could be different. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's all on. Yeah, that's just me. It's all on how you set your business up and who you choose to be your customer. Like who you want your customer. Because if you want to work with brokers, like you ain't really got to have nothing done. You just got to have vehicles and insurance and drivers. And you
Okay, it says
I
pause.
think my battery.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, but I think it's up to you. Like, and when you say running and making money, I don't know what that means. Like, that's
And
a
I
kind of
think this
tough one.
goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where people like, how can I make money in
Right.
this? And this is really the long game, really. You gotta network, you gotta create those relationships. And one thing that affected me was COVID. I started my business at the end of 2019, but I couldn't even get my vehicle
Mm-hmm.
until August of 2020 because the dealerships, everybody was under COVID protocol. I couldn't even
Oh, yeah.
network because I couldn't
Yeah.
go into the nursing homes. I couldn't do all of those, other things. And so it took me
Mm-hmm.
a year before I even had my first trip. I had to work through that.
Mm.
And guess what? During that time, I still had to pay that insurance. I still had to
That
pay that
insurance ain't no
insurance.
joke.
So it's like
Look,
it
they
really,
ain't
like
trying
like Stephanie said,
to
it's on you. If you market, if you research, if you do
care.
everything. One thing that when I work with people, I tell them, have you started? Do you have a date for when you want to start your business? If you want to start,
Right.
January 1st, then you should have been marketing and creating an email list and having a plan to where on
Right.
January 1st you're ready for business. You're
Yeah,
ready.
you
You
ready to
have facilities that are wanting to send you people. You have people that are, I guess on a waiting list or whatever, that are trying to
Mm-hmm.
ride with you. All of that. But the marketing is important. Somebody said
It's
these
very
companies that
important.
spend 1.2, you hear them say, oh, they spent 3-4 million dollars on a Super Bowl ad, but then they bringing in 40-50 million dollars through the year.
Right.
And they
Right.
did, and they paid what's 2-3 million when you gonna bring in 100 million. So
Yeah.
your marketing, the marketing, it
It's
goes a long
huge.
way.
It goes. It's. I just. That's why I say I know that's where I messed up at the beginning, where I didn't. I didn't have a plan. Like, and your plan don't have to be like, no sophisticated as plan, but you got to have a plan on how you gonna market and what that marketing looks like, and not just social media. Because
Yes.
be like this in this industry, marketing, this is all, like we said, it's all about
Yeah.
relationships, and you have to physically go and talk to people. Like,
Hmm.
you can't just say I'm gonna post stuff on Facebook and think that's marketing, because that's only a portion of the marketing. But
Yes, that's a part of it. Yes, exactly.
I just
Somebody
I just
asks, "Are you allowed to walk people in with groceries or whatever and leave someone else in the vehicle?" Now, this is a little complex question, but
mm,
I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability. Now, when I take people grocery shopping, yes, we help them take the
mm,
groceries inside. However, just as a courtesy, I always ask, is it okay if I come in before I cross somebody's threshold? And I might even say, we cannot come into your home unless you say it's okay. Now,
yeah,
I also, when I'm taking people grocery shopping, that is an individual trip. I
yeah,
want to get to the point where I'm taking 4 or 5 people at a time, like in a passenger van or something like that. But for right now, it's an individual trip, so there's nobody else in the van. And yes, I'm not going to just leave somebody out with their groceries,
yeah. We
at
take
the
we
at the steps or something. If they need me to go in, I have people that they're like, "Oh, can you come
mm,
in and can you
can
roll
you
my
come?
wheelchair into the kitchen, or something like that?" And I'll do that, or can you come in and can you set my bag down right here,
Mm-hmm.
as
Especially
people
like the
get to
little
know you,
old
they'll feel more
ladies.
comfortable with
They'll
you.
feel comfortable.
Exactly.
The
Yeah, they'll
little
feel
old
more
ladies.
comfortable with you to go into the house. But I really, that it just depends on the relationship. I have some people I've never been any further than their um driveway. But then I had some people, one of one of my people, she moved with her daughter, nice house, and she took me
Mm-hmm.
on the whole tour. She was like, "Yeah, and look at this sink right here, and look where the microwave is." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is nice up in here."
It's
They had the
nice.
bar set up, and
But
I'm
they
thinking
that
like, "Oh,
means
when
that
I get my
they
house, I'm gonna have
really she
this."
really trusts you. Like,
Yeah,
we take more than one person to the grocery store, but they live at the same facility.
okay,
So we do a
like a
like we
group
may
trip.
do like a run, and it might be like three or four, at the most four of them that want to go at the same time,
Hmm.
and we just charge each one of them a flat fee. But we'll put like the little I call them wagons, little wagon things in the
Oh
back.
yeah.
And so we help them. And the little old ladies, they be like, they'll be like, hold on, wait a minute, let me go get you a little change.
Yes, yeah, or
They'll
I
tip.
was in there because one of my people, she was in a wheelchair, so she needed me to go into the grocery store with her, and she was like, "You better get you something." And it was like a bakery, right? It wasn't even a grocery store; it was a bakery. And at this time, I was like, "Okay, trying to cut back on the sweets." And she was like, "You better get you something." And I was like, "No, ma'am, I'm fine." And she was like, "You better get." You know how older people are,
Uh-huh.
they like, "Nah, no, you
They
gonna get you
adamant
something."
about it. Like,
Man,
let's
I
go.
got me some
Get this
cinnamon
cake
rolls,
anime.
and I've been going back to that bakery getting them. Them was the best cinnamon rolls, and I was like, she was like, I told you was gonna like them. So, they're like an extra set of grandparents. Like I really love my
Yeah.
demographic of clients. They bring me goodie
Yeah.
bags because they get mad when they be like, "Have you been out on this road all day and you haven't eaten anything?"
Did you
And
eat?
then the
Yeah.
next day they bringing me chips and sandwiches and cake. Oh, holidays they making cakes and pies and all types of stuff.
That's the
So
benefit, man.
that's the benefit of it. I mean, I really, really,
That's
really
the
love my
benefit. I
customers.
love it. Like,
I
I
love it.
love the old. I haven't really focused on an age group, but I definitely prefer the older people,
Hmm.
that the ones that kind of can get around on their own, because
Yeah.
you like you said, those are the ones. And I mean, these old ladies that if I charge, for example, for me to take you to Publix or whatever, take you up the street and come back, it might be $45. And child, they be to give me like $10. Like, you want something to drink? Come on
Yeah.
inside. You know what? You got any more trips? You finished for
Right.
the day? I know you tired. Like, they be
Yeah. They look out.
they look out. And so I always try to, the holidays time, Christmas, give them a card or just some form of a token of appreciation.
Yes, because I really do appreciate each and every person that gets into my vans. I mean, because they're another thing that I do in the welcome bag, the gift bags, is I write a note and tell them thank you,
Hmm.
for trusting Campton Transport. Thank you for choosing Campton Transport because you can choose a lot of people. I
Right,
I,
right.
I acknowledge that I'm not the only person out here. But you choose to consistently support and ride with me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Definitely. You definitely.
Hmm.
Somebody said, so we back. So somebody's talking about the insurance $1 million policy was a realistic monthly payment. I so insurance is going. It's so many factors. It's the city, the state, your driving history. Like, it's because I know when I moved from where I was at in Winston Salem to Charlotte, like, the insurance doubled because people in Charlotte can't drive.
Yes.
So it's so many factors, but my payments run about $500 a month per vehicle.
And
Uh,
I started out paying 1,300 for one. I have gotten it down when I added this vehicle right here. Um but it's not like, see, I thought that it was gonna be, again, like Stephanie said earlier, I thought it was gonna be like personal car insurance. So the more cars you add, they're
the
like, "Oh, you
cheaper it
can do this
is.
group rate." No, they not doing that.
It's
They
no
not
group
doing that
rate,
at all. Yeah,
and
but
it doubles when you add drivers. When you add
yes.
people,
And that's why I don't hire anybody with anything on their driving record, because I have a good driving record. I don't have anything on mine.
me either.
So, I've been blessed, to keep my personal insurance. Oh, that's low. That's low. But I've heard somebody told me that their insurance was $900. They added their business partner and it went up to $1,900 because he had just had an accident like 2-3 years ago.
Mm.
And she was like, I took him off that insurance so fast.
And
But yeah.
sometimes they don't. Sometimes when you do that, they don't allow you to take people
Yeah,
off,
they don't allow you to take, they don't allow
depending
you
on
to
the
take them
agent.
on. What she did was she had to tell them that he was no longer working for her. And
Hmm.
so she had to find another role because it was her business partner, but she had to find another role for him to do that he could not drive. So those are things that you need to take into consideration.
So when you get your insurance, somebody asked, so definitely add general liability.
Yes.
Understand, y'all, it's just like so people don't get it confused. You need two insurances.
Mm-hmm.
You need your auto liability for the car, and you got to make sure you get full coverage because full coverage is gonna cost you more. But remember, liability is only it's like your personal insurance is only covering the other person.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't covering your car. But then you need professional general liability insurance for your business. So you need both of them, in my opinion, anyway.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody said, oh, so for those type of trips, you go on and put out flyers at the buildings or talk to building manager.
Are you
Um,
talking about like facilities? Like I guess they mean like assisted living facilities or senior facilities or something like that. Um, I do both. I
I'm
do
about to
both.
say I do
Really, I
both.
might meet somebody that lives in that type of facility, and then I just end up. That's how I end up going over there. Or I might go in there and I might say, hey, this is what I do, and I'm going to leave my information. Some people they'll let me put my flyer up on their billboard in a community
Mm-hmm.
room or something like that. So it just I think it's both. It's both.
You
I
gotta
think it's
ask.
using a combination of both. I mean,
Yeah.
you need to call too. You need to create a script, just like when Stephanie said procedures. Create a script for when you're calling. Sometimes, it might be raining, it might be, whatever, and you don't really feel like driving, but you can still sit at home and
Yeah.
use that time to get on the phone and still connect with that facility. And say, hey, I was just calling.
Mm-hmm.
You could what I started out doing really was I got a list of doctor's offices and their addresses, and I just mailed my flyer
The
to
flyer.
their
Yeah.
address.
And
Um,
you can easily once you like for me, if I reach out to somebody or stop by a place or call, I've sent out blast emails. Like I'll go on
mhm.
their website, get emails, and if I don't hear anything, I'll follow it up with a phone call or a visit. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stop it by. I sent the email, and you follow up. If you don't hear something in a little while, you're gonna have to follow up because even though you put the information out there, there's so many scams going on. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people really want to see that you're a real person. So a lot of times I end up physically going to locations after a few phone calls and what you call it, emails and all that. Eventually, you gonna have to go talk to somebody.
Mhm.
Somebody asked about contracts. So with your facilities, I don't really. I think people have. I don't know, but I don't really. I don't really get into contracts like with a facility. Somebody asked, "Do you do a?" I forgot. I just saw it, but do you do contracts? So if you work with, let's say, dialysis clinic, do you do a contract or are you listed as a provider?
I'm listed as a preferred provider.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. I'm not too fond of contracts myself.
Right.
Because I feel like once you enter a contract, you have to do those rides. It's almost. I mean, and they
Hmm.
might pay out of pocket. That's fine.
Right.
But let's say they're like, oh well, we got 5 rides today, and you like, dang, I can't do 5 rides today. So now you're in your breach of contract. I'd rather just
Right.
go
You just
ahead, make
call me. You
form the
just
relationship, and they call me when they need me, and if I can do it, I can do it, and if I can't, then I can't.
because I have some. I know a young lady here that owns her. She has a wheelchair van, and she went into a contract with an assisted living adult daycare,
Hmm.
and so part of they pay good. But what happens is when you drop she has these set number of people that she takes to the adult daycare. But what happens is, what's happening now is they'll call her and say, "Oh, well, Mr. Such and Such need to go to the doctor. Can you come?" And so it puts her almost like I was telling her today. I was like, it's almost like you work for them
Yeah.
solely. So when people I just think it's just I don't know. I just think it's just thing that people hear about the industry. Oh, you need to get into a contract. with the facilities, and I just prefer to be a preferred provider or provider, so that way y'all calling me, but then also have those individual people that are reaching out to you to
Right.
keep you consistent or keep you on the road with trips. I don't really want to do too many contracts.
I love the freedom of it, because also, see, when you get into a contract, they could have a problem person. I've
Mm-hmm.
here in Alabama, I've picked up a few people
Mm-hmm.
that they did not know that I was black, and they made it known that they were not happy. Maybe their insurance, maybe their social worker scheduled a ride, maybe their child scheduled a ride, whatever the case. But when I show up and they see me and they like, I mean, I had somebody, she straight up said, I'm not getting in the car with her. And her daughter had already paid for the trip, and all of that. And then
You
I had to make a decision, and I was like, well, look, if you feel that
know,
way, I don't want you in my car either. I'm always prepared to refund because some customers just aren't worth the stress, But
right.
when you're in a contract, you still got to do that ride. That
Still
person might
yeah,
cuss you
right.
out the whole way. That person might
Ma'am.
just make the whole ride difficult for you. But now you're in a contract and you have to do that. I
Yeah.
like the fact that
Mm-mm.
I reserve the right
Mm-mm. To
to
decline and kick
to
your
refuse
ass out my
service.
van.
Yes,
Kick your ass out. Like
yes,
I reserve
and
the
ban
right.
you. Like I can ban
Yeah.
you to where you
I don't.
can't,
Mm-mm.
you can never schedule with me again.
No.
But if you in a contract, you don't have that option because
Yeah.
you, like you said, you're pretty much working
You
for
work,
them.
and I don't. I had one. I was telling somebody the other day, like I had one client that he was going to physical therapy, and I had taken him a couple times. He lived at an assisted living facility, and I took him. This time he they must have gave him some medication, and so we like 75% of the way there, and he like, Stephanie, I got a shit like right now.
No,
Right, bro. I said, what? I said, wait, what? He said, he said it just like this. I got a shit.
no.
So I said, well, wait a minute,
Please wait a minute.
please. And without, without trying to run through lights and stuff, and
Yes.
I'm in the van praying. Like I told you, I got my Jesus playing all day, and he's like, he said it hurt so bad. I'm squeezing my butt. This is an older, heavy set white guy, and he's like, I'm squeezing my butt cheeks, but it hurt. And I was like, I said, Lord, I said, Jesus, listen, Lord, I'm not cleaning up nobody poop today
Yes.
or any day.
Yes.
But I said, Lord, if I said, Jesus, and I'm old school
I'm so weak right now.
from the South. So you remember how you go to church, the holiness church, and they be like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus,
Yes.
please, Lord, please. And
I've
so
had that
I
happen too.
pull, I mean, I literally pull in. I get there. I said, man, just hold it, please. He like back there. I said, damn, wait a minute. Now in my vans, I always keep like towels, paper
Mhm.
towels,
Mhm.
cleaning stuff. But
Mhm.
I wasn't equipped for this. I
He was
said,
like,
oh,
remember on next Friday when he was like, somebody please let me over. Somebody please help me
please.
please.
He said, you Stephanie, you going? I said, well, it's no way I can pull over. Like we on the interstate, bro. It's no. And he's like, man. So we pull into the hospital, and listen, for real, he barely makes it to slide down out my damn van. I,
No.
I put that thing in park. I thought I was gonna tear up my transmission. I put that thing in park so quick, and I get out. I press the button, open the doors, and I'm like, okay, come on, go, go, go.
Yes.
He could not move, like he had to stand there.
No.
Oh my God, listen. I had to take the van. I take my vans like you get the membership,
Uh-huh.
and I cleaned the seat so much, like I didn't even let nobody sit in it for a couple days.
Yes.
I cleaned it, and I was just like, luck. Now, you think we all laughing about it because at the time, seriously, it wasn't funny, but it's funny afterwards because he did make it to the bathroom.
Okay.
But you think about the fact that when you transporting people, like that may happen.
Yes.
Like people
I
might
actually had
pee,
somebody get
throw
in
up,
my van, and
huh?
she told me, I said she got in the van, and she was like, I really hate that I just did that. And I'm like, you know what? And she was like, I just released my bowels. And I was like, oh, what? In the center? I'm picking her up from dialysis. I'm like, oh, what in there? Like, okay, TMI. And she was like, no, right here. And I had my mask on, right? Thank God for the mask, because I was like, oh my God. So I'm thinking, like, I know that this lady did not take a shit in my van. Like, and my thing is, like you say, I got antibacterial, I got my Lysol, I got my Clorox and all that, but that is not on my list of things to do. But in this case, because I'm like trying to smell it, I'm like, do I smell anything? Whatever. She had it depends on though. So she was good.
Ooh,
She was good. Thank God. She had it, but she was just like,
ooh,
yeah. I was
child.
just like, oh my goodness. And then I had another man that
Mm.
he got out of the car. A little old man, bless his heart. He got out of the car, and I guess he needed a belt for his pants. He didn't have his belt on. His wife was riding with him, and his pants fell down getting out the car. Now, unbeknownst to me, he had a catheter in him. And so when his pants fell down, I see the bag of urine, and I'm just like, please don't tell me this spilled out. Please don't tell me this spilled out. And by instinct, I reached to grab it just because I was like, get this out of my car. But I stopped myself because I'm like, I can't touch this. But nothing spilled out. But these things
Oh my!
happen. These are the things that you don't think
These,
about,
that's what I'm saying.
that will
That's
happen.
what I was saying. Get into like this is the stuff that you're not really thinking about. Like
Yes, that you're not prepared
I
for.
didn't think about it really to that moment. I mean, and this was probably like a year ago, but I haven't picked him up. I refuse to pick him up. Like you're not a cut. I'm not picking you up no more.
Yeah.
Like you almost took. I felt like it was gonna be like World War XII in my van after he pooped, and I was like, nope. And they were, his case manager would call me, and I said I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't. Like I don't know what kind of medicines y'all giving him, but
But
he
that's not gonna
almost
work for
he
me.
almost he almost pooped, and it's just not gonna work for me.
That's
So
not gonna work for me.
I haven't.
And
I did.
again, the freedom to be able to say like, hey, I don't want to take this person, you know. But I mean, it's all types of things
That could
that
have.
can happen, and it's just, you know, it's stories, that I've just been like, wow, like this is what's going on. I pulled up and people been in the middle of a daggone family argument, and I'm like, all right, I'm here,
My,
hey, are you going or you staying or what's
hey, I'm here. I'm right
going right?
here. I'm
Like, I
here.
don't know what y'all got going on, but hey, I'm on the schedule. Are you
I'm
going or you
here.
staying or what you
What's
doing?
Man, my daughter was just telling me she did a trip today, and I heard her talking to the lady when I called her, and the lady just she just talking, and she was Hawaiian, and so she was like aloha and all this, and so she just talking. My daughter loved to talk too, and
Hmm.
so they talking, and my daughter says she get to drop the lady off, and the lady says, my girlfriend in the house right now, she getting my line ready. And my daughter said, what? She just came from the doctor.
You're
And
right.
she was talking, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a line. And she said, and my daughter said that somebody was walking up, and she was like, let me go because I don't like this. And she did her and the other lady that was outside, the passenger, the client, and the other lady, they started arguing.
No.
I said, girl, if you don't get your ass out, get your butt out
I've
there.
had people. A joint fell out somebody's pocket in my car one time, and I'm driving, and I'm like, why do I smell weed? Like, you know, what is going? And it smells like it's like I'm not driving past somebody's car,
No,
like
it's
or I'm
like
driving past a car.
strong.
So, like it smells like it's in my car. So I'm like, why do I keep smelling weed? Why do I keep smelling weed? And so I just pulled over and looked through, and they just right in the it must have fell out their pocket, and
They
it was right
mad.
in the crevices of the seat, and they had a joint in there, and I was like, Lord, somebody, I had to put, yeah, somebody just said that happened with me with beer. I had to put up my no eating, drinking, whatever, because they came out the house with a cup. I'm thinking it's like water. They got to take their medicine or something, whatever. I
Mm-mm.
get the smelling liquor, and I'm like, why do it smell like alcohol in here? Like people really, I mean, these are all types of things that
It's
people.
so much stuff.
It's
Like
so many
it's
things
so
that you
many
don't even think about, and
stories.
that's where your policies and your procedures comes
Procedures
from for
come
real.
in,
Is
like
that
we
you
don't
be like, okay,
stop.
well, I got to put this in here. Now I got to put this in here. You would
But
think
that's where policies come
that's
from.
where that
Cause
comes
something
in.
happened. That's
Yeah,
where they come in. Something happened. Cause I mean I've had people they are scheduled to go to the doctor. And this is before when I worked with a broker and they going to the doctor, but they like, can you take me to the liquor store? Ma'am, it's 11:30.
I
What
had somebody say they was meeting a weed man at the store before they was going to dialysis. She was like, I gotta meet. She was like, if you don't mind, said it real cool. If you don't mind, if you could pull over at the store, cause I gotta smoke me some before I go up in here. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, okay, smoke what? Cause we ain't smoking no crack up in this van. We ain't smoking nothing up in this van, but definitely not no crack. But you never know. I mean, it's just a not. You just never know. But yeah, people are people, and it is
people are
it's
people,
interesting.
and it don't matter that you taking. It don't matter that you come. You clearly are coming to handle business and taking them
Yes,
out. They don't care, and people be real mad when you tell them no. I'm like, man,
yes.
we not taking you to the liquor store. My son, when he drove for me, he'd be like, Mom, she want me to take her to the ABC store. And I said,
Absolutely not.
what? No. And he said, well, can you tell her? Because she being real indignant about it. Like,
Like, no, man, we don't
and
make any
I
stops.
said, put me
And
on
just
speaker.
you can be
Put me on
professional
speaker,
about it.
ma'am. No, ma'am, we're not taking you to the liquor store.
Yeah,
No.
we're on a
He going
tight
to take you
schedule.
home.
I'm sorry, we don't make any extra stops.
What?
It is what it is. But yeah, Lord, she said she
Some
had
people,
somebody over.
oh my goodness! What I'm
Yes,
telling you, like when in this business, like you run across so many
a little
different
bit of
type of people,
everything.
man. I was
Yeah.
like, it's nothing surprises me. I mean,
Mhm.
nothing surprises me. Get a
No.
camera for the trip, straight real. Yeah, so that's true.
And you know what? I do have a camera. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the audio on. Okay? And it's
Mm.
because the relationship that a lot of me and my passengers have, a lot they open up about a lot
Mm-hmm.
of personal stuff, in the van. We talk about a lot of different things.
I'm telling you,
Um
man, you be a if people if you smart if I don't say if you smart because I ain't did it, but you could be a peer support specialist. You got people in your car,
yeah,
and you can get double paid because
yes.
people. I mean, you would be amazed, like you're saying. Like I've had people I'm taking to chemo, and their stories are either it's
Yeah.
really sad or
Yeah.
like one lady, she was like, Stephanie, I've been I've been picking her up for a little bit, and she's like, Stephanie, I'm glad you came to pick me up today, but I didn't really feel like getting out of bed. She said she'd been in bed depressed for like 30 days,
Mm,
and she like her son got killed, and
mm.
I'm like, listen, I ain't equipped for this today.
I
Like
know.
she crying, I'm
I was just about
crying.
to say, because I'm a crybaby, okay? 5 will be in there, and they'll probably pull up. We'll pull up, and they'll be like, "Well, what in the world is going on?" But yes, some of the people's stories are heartbreaking.
It's a lot. It'd be a
It's
lot.
it's and um I want that to be a safe space,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, for them, that they know, because a lot of people, like I said, for 50 or older, a lot of them live alone. A lot of them are
Mm-hmm.
divorced. Their spouses may have died. Um,
Mm-hmm. That's true though.
they
That's true.
they don't get to talk to anybody until they go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? That's their only interaction with someone, is
Yeah.
when they're leaving the house. But then they go in there, and I mean, Birmingham, you have people that are thriving in Birmingham, but you have a lot of people that don't
Mm-hmm.
even. I remember I went in a lady house. This is when I was working as a social worker. I went in a lady house, and she didn't even have a floor in her house. Her
That's
floor was like dirt. I had never seen anything like it. Dirt, you know. Yeah, somebody said you become family. I
you
I
do.
made a video. I did a TikTok about my first client that passed away. And when I say I was at that funeral, boo-hooing. Okay, first of all, I don't like funerals. But when
Right.
I say I was at that funeral,
Right.
boo-hooing, I know they was probably like, okay, she's just the driver,
You're just a driver, like.
like, what's going on? But that was my boo. Like, that was my lady. Like, her son worked,
Mm-hmm.
like, drove trucks for McDonald's or something like that. She would come in, baby. I got bags of fries and coffee and bread and all types of stuff, all from McDonald's. And I'm taking it home for my son because he like French fries. And my
Yeah.
dad like coffee and stuff like that. But I mean, that was my little boo. And then it was sudden, that it was literally, I saw her, and I was like, okay, we'll see you, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, baby, see you Friday. And next thing I know, her family calling me saying she in ICU.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, she gone.
Yeah.
So
That's
I never even
bad.
got to say, anything. It was just so, I mean, you get attached.
That's what I'm about to say.
Especially dialysis people, you taking them
To
three
the
days a week,
right.
and you start to, I've been to graduations, Christmas time, they gave me gifts, they gave me cards. I get invited into their homes,
I
and all
think
types of
it's
stuff.
part of the business though,
It's
but
part of the business.
that's not part of the business that people prepare. Like
Yeah.
that's not on your task list or
Mm-mm.
things, because you're gonna get to know people. You're gonna interact with them on a regular basis, and they're gonna be like your family. So
Mm-hmm.
when they, when they're gone, like you have to deal with that, and
Yeah.
that's just
It's a
like dealing
different
with a
type
family.
of grief. It's
It's the
weird
grief.
because it's like,
Yeah.
I only known this person for 3 months, and then by now I've had like 4 or 5 clients pass away. It doesn't get easier, but
Right.
it's just, you learn how to deal with it, and you just know that it's a part of the business,
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
just, it happens. It happens, especially with my demographic, 50 and older.
Oh
Anything,
yeah. Yeah.
could
That's the
happen.
sad
So
part. I
yeah,
don't. I haven't had any to pass away, but I just know that's part. I
that's
mean, like
part
you
of it.
said, that's just part of it. Like, and you don't. Sometimes you don't know. Like if you pick people up and you just don't see them, and then I'd be like, damn, such and such ain't made an appointment in a while. I ain't
Yeah,
talked to
let
such
me call
and
and
such.
check on
Let
them.
me
Yeah,
call and check. But it's
it's
I don't know.
part it's part of it's part
Part
of
of it.
life.
It's part
Um,
of life.
and it's part of life, and it's just part of the business. And so, that, like I said, it's not a ride. It's not just a ride. It's an experience. Social workers have
Mm-hmm.
told me that people that were normally grumpy coming in, they're coming in with better attitudes. They're coming in feeling, more positive about, because I think that, especially with dialysis, it's more of a mental thing when you're dealing with any chronic illness.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a mental thing, when you're going in, and you're doing dialysis. And so I just want to make that experience, pleasant.
The best thing.
They
Yeah.
already going through a lot, and it really doesn't cost anything to be nice. That's
It
what
really
my
doesn't.
father
Like
told me.
that's what I'm saying. Like if you decide that this is what you want to do, it does not cost you anything to be kind to people.
Hmm.
Like you ain't gotta be all super bubbly
Yeah.
but you definitely have to be empathetic
Yeah.
and kind. Like kindness goes a long
A
way.
long way.
A
A long
long way.
way. And
I'm trying
and their
to think.
family will thank you too. I've had so many people. They're like, finally, it was like I can work from home. I don't have to take off, in the middle of the
Hmm.
day and go get my mother and take it to the. When I did a live when I first started going live. Maybe this was over a year ago, and I was talking about how long does it take for someone to to get to the doctor if they don't have transportation. And so doing my
Hmm.
research, it was between a month and a month and a half, because first they have to get the appointment, then they have to find somebody to take them to that appointment. That person may have to request time off. Then not only that, but not only does that person have to request time off, they have to get up earlier. They got to spend their gas. They probably have to
Right.
spend money for valet parking, lunch during the day, because a lot of these appointments are long. They last most of the day. They're missing. They've taken a day off work. Everybody doesn't have PTO. So now the
Right.
trickle down effect, if you're taking off a day a week,
You
that's
losing money.
affecting your household income. And
Yeah.
so again, they rather go to work and pay somebody to handle that and be able to make their money that they can pay you with,
Right.
than to deal with it.
They
It
gonna
is
pay.
what it is.
I mean, I definitely know. I definitely agree. Like people are definitely gonna pay, especially like you said, the family members that got to take out work and all that, and
Hmm.
they ain't got no time, or they done used up all their PTO, or they
Yep.
got vacation plan, and they can't. And sometimes even when you think about family members that get sick unexpectedly or get in a car accident or
Yeah.
something happens, and,
Yes.
and they don't have nobody to care for them,
Hmm.
or the other family members are out of town or whatever. So the services, the I feel like the need is always gonna be there. Like
Yes.
one thing I would say about transporting people is I just think this is a recession proof. Like it ain't going nowhere. Like
Oh.
I was transporting people um during COVID. Like
Hmm.
it's not going anywhere. I think it's just all about how you market your business and
and
like you
and
said,
being able to pivot.
and being that pivot is that listen that if you
You got to
if
be
you
able to
you
pivot.
got to be able to pivot, and you got to know what you got to keep up with what's going on in this industry. So
Yes.
if you're not that person that's going to kind of keep up with, even like now knowing that like the school system, the school bus driver shortage is crazy. It's
Yes.
going to get worse. So if you're not preparing that, if you want to get into student transportation and understanding what you got to do, you're going to miss it.
This is what I meant to ask you. With
Hmm.
transporting kids, is the insurance different? Like, do you have to, like, when you get the commercial insurance with, for the non-emergency medical transportation, you have to tell them, this is what I do, and I need non-emergency medical transportation coverage, because all insurance companies don't do medical
Right.
transportation coverage. So, do you have to tell your insurance company that you're transporting children, or is it the same?
It's the
It's
same.
just the same. Okay, it's just the same
It's
across
the
the board.
same.
Okay.
Only reason why I say or know it's the same is because um when you for me I transport all age groups
Okay.
anyway. So like if you got a kid that's going to the doctor, it's the same as if I'm taking them to school. So I
Okay.
didn't
That's
I didn't have to make any adjustments when it came to my insurance.
okay. Okay. Yeah,
But
that's what I was wondering, because school is about, I mean, well, they're going back now, but for the
hmm
summertime, school is about to let out. People are going to be putting their kids in summer camp. People are going to
I'm
be,
trying to tell you,
um
them
uh
summer camps and even
yeah.
the ones that they go away.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
They go
I
away.
actually have somebody that he not leave the state, and he's like, but I want my daughter here with me for the summertime. How much would you charge me to go and get her? She lives 3 hours away, and
Mm-hmm.
bring her to me and take her back home at the end of the summer. Things like that. So, I mean, I've had people say, I want my mother here for the holidays. She doesn't like to fly.
Right.
You know,
Right.
how can I get her? I even had somebody that was in Birmingham. They was from Indiana or something. I don't even know how they found me. And they were like, me and my family gonna be here in Birmingham and we need a private driver. You know, let me know how much you charge per hour. Now, I didn't do that. I mean, I wanted to, but I just wasn't prepared. So now I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
again, your
You see
customers
me?
will
I'm
let you
looking like
know what you need, you know. So now I'm like,
that's a
that
good
private
because you
driver
think
thing
about
ain't sounding too bad.
people that are like going to, leaving your information even at hotels, like
Yes.
doing those peak seasons like holidays, or I've told people even, so if you live in a place wherever, I mean it could be wherever, but you think about Birmingham, you can go to the tourism or the city
Mm-hmm.
or your county, but most of your city to see what events. And I say that because when I was transport last year, I had a student, and he lived on the side of town where they had like golf courses and stuff, all kind of events. And it seemed like twice doing what once it got warm, they were having these different golf events, and I was like, I might need to revisit this whole thing of being open for more private like that.
Yeah.
So when you are up to date with the different events, you can even go to your tourism department or your city to find out all the events that's going on, and you can market your business to transport, because they're gonna call Lyft and Uber. So
Hmm.
you might as well be you
And,
might as well
and
be in
and
that
people say,
number.
well, what's the difference? You're like a Uber for older people, and what's the difference between Uber and what you doing? Well, first of all, you know who you riding with every time you get in the car. You know
Right.
that my insurance is up to date because I'm mandated by the state to do that. You know that my vehicles are clean. You know
I
who owns
you
the
know
company.
correct.
You know, and then not only that, but when you order Lyft, see, I do pay for my dialysis people and people I
Mm-hmm.
take to work and stuff like that. Anybody that rides with me 3 or more days a week, they can get like a flat rate and they can pay bi-weekly or monthly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a
you
good
can't do that
idea.
with Lyft or Uber. Your car gotta clear before they even send a driver out to you.
Right.
You
I'm
know,
about to say
so I'm giving you the flexibility. I'm taking different payment options. You can pay in cash, you can pay PayPal, you can pay. I got a link that I can send through my
mm-hmm.
merchant services thing. Send it straight to your email. You pay it. I mean, it's all about
Oh,
convenience.
listen,
You
I
want to
keep
make it as easy
squares.
as possible for people to pay you. You know, I mean, it's these are the differences between. Then when you say that, they're like, oh, yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, I get,
I
because
get it.
I was about to say, if you even if you haven't, if you on here still and you own a business, you better get you a Square. I got a Square in every car.
Yes.
So listen, I take debit cards, credit cards, I take it all.
You can. I think you can even tap to pay. So, but
Yeah,
you know
listen.
that again, my demographic, they like tap to pay. You know,
Oh
so I got
yeah,
to work with them. But yeah, but even still, you know, you can tap to pay. You can make it as easy as possible for people to pay you. You know, yeah,
that's
I tell you,
true.
the only thing that you do have to ride with me for a while before I accept a check from you, because again, my demographic, they like to still write checks, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, listen.
But you
Okay,
gotta ride. You gotta ride with me a certain, like you gotta have a reputation with me before I accept a check from you.
because
Yeah,
then I'm coming for you. I already
I'm
know where
coming.
you at.
Yeah, yeah, and you gonna pay them bank
With that
fees
check.
and everything.
I ain't never took no check.
I
Even look.
honestly
I
want to
haven't
figure out
taken
how I
one.
can do ACH. Honestly, for the people, and hey, and I don't even got to worry about it. This is gonna come out your account
Mm-mm.
on this day, you know, whatever,
You can
and
set
that's
them
it.
up. You probably can set them up like a or they can set
A
you up
reoccurring
like
payment.
a reoccurring or a bill
Hmm.
pay with their bank.
But I'm saying I don't. I just don't even want. I want that to be the only option. Like, you know, it's gonna come out your account. You know, um, but I
Like
don't. I don't really have a problem getting paid for my private pay people because again,
yeah.
of my demographic, they're honest people. You know, they're going. They know that they need this service. They're going to respect.
Hmm.
You know, they're not gonna try to get over on you and
And
things
they
like
gonna
that.
pay. They
And
gonna
they gonna
pay.
pay.
They gonna pay.
They
Like
gonna
listen,
pay.
I have yet, thank God, I've yet to have a person at assisted living facility or something say, I ain't got it.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I ain't leaving till you pay me. But like
First of all.
some of the older people, like you said, that I know, and we built a relationship. I take them, and then they pay me when they. Cause what I mean, what you going? I ain't gonna let you out till you pay me.
Right. Look, and it's so funny because I'll be like, all right, let me get my little machine out. We do the payment, and then I hit
Mm-hmm.
the button. Once that payment clear and you sign,
Get
all
out.
right, well, you have a good one. I'm hitting the button to open the sliding door. You're not getting up out. You're
That's what
not
I'm
getting up out
saying.
that van,
You're not getting out
Yeah.
till you pay me. Once you
But
pay me,
I never had that issue. I got one man that as soon as he get in the car and I put it, he be like, "Hold on, pull over. Let's handle the business first, and then we can go." And I'll be like, "Okay, you sure? Because I want to get you to your appointment. I know you're gonna pay me." No, no, I want to handle this business. I don't want. Okay, cool. I'll
okay.
take it right here. Let me turn my hotspot on and connect to my Wi-Fi. But yeah,
So
but I haven't really run into that. The only
I
issue
haven't.
that I've run into with not being paid is from brokers, like Medicaid, and I'm not even gonna say facilities because the facilities pay because they need the services. They don't want
I
to
them
make
the brokers is the only people that I had
yeah.
problems getting
Everybody else,
paid.
I get paid like I'm supposed to.
I don't. That's why when you think about who you gotta cut off, them the first ones, cause them
Yes,
the ones that
yes,
ain't pay me on time. Like and I get indignant about my money. Like
yes. Like seriously,
I
yeah.
don't be playing. I'm like, listen, I already completed this trip. I'm gonna need my money. You got till Friday to get me my money.
And when they book the trip, um, and I said, okay, so you're booked and payment is due between now and the day of the trip. you know,
Right.
when I do my confirmation, will you be paying now? Will you be paying in the morning? Something like that. Just, but yeah,
Don't
you
be
gotta make
awkward.
sure
I don't.
you all collect the funds
I know
before you
it's
begin
never been
driving.
awkward. I send people like the ones that I end up talking to and that I invoice them and I do the same thing and I said it's due by such and
Yeah.
such time on such and such date
Mhm.
and pay and the trip is not confirmed until payment is received.
Yes, exactly. And somebody said, can you all collect the funds before you begin to drive?" Yes. And if
Yes.
something happens, and if they need to cancel, if it was rescheduled or something like that, I'll refund or I'll credit. I have no issue doing that, but I need to have something, at least a deposit or something, before I
Oh
come
yeah.
out there. And if I send, because like Stephanie said, I'm taking all the procedures. I'm verifying your appointment 24 hours before. I'm
Mm-hmm.
calling you to let you know the driver's on the way, 30 minutes out. I'm letting you know when the driver is there. So you have ample time to cancel. And if you do not cancel and once the driver is on the way, and you cancel, you're going to be charged no fee, a no show
A
fee.
no show fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have them feet.
And that has to be paid before you
It's
can
gotta
book
be
another
paid.
ride.
Now see when you go to my website, like when you book the trip, if it's a person like just going on, now my demographic is a little bit different. But if you book on my website, you pay. Like it tell you how much you owe when you put the addresses in, where you coming from,
Yes.
going, and you pay. But I've had some people that will click the button to pay later, and
Hmm.
so I'll call them to do the confirmation, like you saying, and they'll say, "Well, okay," and they'll pay right then. Like before I've had people, they have a procedure, whatever. They'll pay before the procedure,
Hmm.
and we'll schedule the time. I'm gonna go pick you up. I only people that I get where they pay right then are the older people, like at the assisted living facilities. But
Okay.
everybody else, they pay before we come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
You got
it's
to.
and if you don't show up, you then you got to pay that.
You got to
I'll
pay that no
refund
show
you
fee.
minus. I pay you minus or refund you back minus
Minus
no
the
show
and
fee.
my no show fee is is the same as my pickup fee.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like you still, you're not paying for mileage or nothing, and all that other stuff, but you're going to pay that pickup fee
you're
because
gonna
we
pay the
came
same
out there.
thing.
And my policies and my procedures are in place, and you had ample time to cancel. So, that's how that goes.
Let's see. I think we got everybody question.
We got everybody.
Dang it! I can't.
This was good.
It's 12 o'clock. Girl, I ain't even know it was that late. We done been talking. This was
I
good.
know, running our miles. Somebody did say how can do we have info on how to start this business? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plug Stephanie, and I'm gonna say that she can help you get your business started. And you said you came in late, but she's gonna give you the basics. Now, depending on what state, I know that you do different states. So depending on what state you're in, she can point you in the right direction. I'm in Alabama, so I can take you through the steps in Alabama and tell you everything that you need to do. But I focus more on growing your business through business etiquette, strategic networking, and effective marketing. And I'm going through the actual things that I did to grow
Mhm.
my business. So that's what I focus on. But I will take you through the process if you're in Alabama from start to finish on what you need to do. And if you're not in Alabama, then like I said earlier, I try to connect with as many providers as I can in other states. So Stephanie is one of them. So if you're in North Carolina, you can contact her. She can let you know what other states do you do, Stephanie?
Oh, I do every state. I can. Well, I tell you what. I tell you that go back to remember what we was talking about. People, I can tell you how to start your business. It don't matter what state you're in.
Yeah.
Just like you can. Like, but when people break it, when people decide that they want to know what state requirements mean, like I cover everything. So even in my class, like we cover marketing, we cover
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
software, we cover a little bit everything.
exactly.
But what the part that you still cover is so important to, like you said, the growth of your business.
Mm-hmm.
But I cover every state, like, cause I feel like it don't matter what state you in. The basics is the
You're
basics.
right. The
Like what you
basics are the
might want to
basics.
know,
But when you talk
like
about
the
state
state
requirements, we're talking about
requirements.
insurance
Yeah.
requirements. Those vary. Most states do between 1 million and 1.5. That you need. So that's general information. But you
Hmm.
would need to contact in your state.
Yeah.
There are different things that you have to have. Like some states you can only work with brokers.
Some states.
Yeah.
And that's majority of them are going to that broker model where you
Hmm.
got to work with a broker. But some states require you got to have a certain license. Some
Yeah.
states, like Virginia, they require you to have like a surety bond.
Hmm.
So I can help people with any state only because I just like to research. So I just go down the rabbit hole. Like I'll start and I just keep going until we figure out what your state requirements are when it comes to whether you want to do Medicaid, Medicare, type of thing, what the insurance requirements are, whether you have to have any specific type of licenses. But you know, getting started ain't the hard part. Ain't getting started.
Yeah, the
It's like
hard part is actually growing the business and going
growing.
out and getting the customers and everything.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
somebody else said, "Do we do the policies and procedures?" So, this year I added. So what I do is I help people create their intake forms that I mentioned. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to have a form created that you ask, questions to make sure that this is the right customer that you want, to service, then I do that. I do policies, procedures. I walk you through the process of doing your business plan, all of those types of things. So,
Mm-hmm.
you can follow Stephanie if you're not already following her. Follow me, and
Yeah.
then we,
Between the two of
we work
us,
together. Yeah, between the
you
two of
between the
us,
two,
we can get you
we
straight.
can
We
get
can get you
there.
straight.
I have a policy and procedure template on my website.
Okay. Yeah. So,
So
yep.
you
There you
can,
go.
you know what I'm saying, between the two of us, either one of us, you know what I'm saying, you going to get what you need.
Yes.
I just had to do my policy. I mean, years ago I had to do it. So that go back to my previous life, like you said, your HR life. But
Hmm.
I had to do it. But once I did it, I was like, I really should have been did this from
Right.
the jump.
Yes.
So even the operating agreement, like some people struggle with and understanding you got to have an operating agreement for your business. I don't care if you're a single member LLC, you still need to
Yeah.
have the
Yeah, the red flag checklist. That's like the intake form. You
mhm,
you know who your customer is, so you know who the perfect person is. And so what you want to
mhm.
do is you want to ask those questions that are going to let you know if that's your person. If you are servicing a specific county in your state, if they live outside of that county, then that's not your customer. Just simple things like that. A red
You gotta know.
flag would really be, if they're not being direct and answering questions. Everything is well, I don't know, or I'm not sure, or, because people that
Mhm.
need and want your services, they know that they need and want your
They
services.
know
So
that they
they're not
don't
even going to
right
play
beat
around,
around the bush.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna be ready to use your services. So yeah, just things like that. Things like that. So like Stephanie said, between her and me, we can definitely get you going in this industry. But and I even have like my initial call with people. I go and I'm very transparent, and I'm say, are you ready to be getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning? Are you ready to sacrifice? Like this year, last year,
Listen,
22,
before the
I
sun
didn't
come
watch
up.
TV for 4 months. I took my TV out my room because it was a distraction, because it was just, and then if I had it on, it was just on like in the background while I'm working,
Right.
so I mean, but are you ready to sacrifice? Are you
Because it's
ready
a
to
sacrifice.
what are you willing to sacrifice? If you're married, what does your spouse think about this? How are you going to get the money? Are you going to go into a retirement account? Do you really think you should do that? Things like that that people don't think about. you
And
know um
that's a good point that you brought up though, the fact that are you ready? Because I don't know, I think people think they are, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I
I
ain't
wasn't
this.
ready.
I thought I was shit. I thought I was, but then I was like, girl, but I feel like that's entrepreneurship because there's
Yeah.
plenty days that I was like, F it. This ain't working, this ain't but the fact that I love what I do and I believe and that goes back to
Yes.
that confidence, like stopping and giving up was never an option. Like I
Never.
might have felt like some days I fired myself a couple of times a
Hmm.
day, but I knew
You got to
why I
keep
was doing
going.
it, and I knew I needed to keep going. I knew that I wanted to be able to hire my kids and
Hmm.
keep this thing going in my family. I knew that's
Hmm.
what I wanted to do, and so that's what kept me and still keep me going. I mean, you know what I'm saying, and the fact that I don't work for nobody else. Like I
Yes.
ain't going back to work for no damn body else.
No,
Pardon my French. So I'm not. I
I'm
don't
not
want
either.
to. I ain't doing it. Like my legacy, and I want, and the fact that me and my son, my youngest son, not even my middle or my oldest, me and my youngest son started this business,
Okay.
and so the fact that he enjoys it, and I can bring my daughter on as my dispatcher. I'm still working on my other son, but the fact that you know what I'm saying, it's a legacy and it's a part of my family, so it's continue to grow and scale it is at the top of my list every day. Like
Yes.
when I get up, before I go to bed, when I get off with y'all tonight, I already have my to do list for tomorrow. So
Yeah.
that way I'm staying focused. I'm staying on top of my shit because
Yeah.
it's very easy to get
It's
distracted.
very easy to get distracted. Yes. And like you said, it's all about right now. I only have one son, but he's in school right now for business administration. So the goal is
Mm-hmm.
for him to have the company to run by the time he graduates, so setting goals and trying to hit those
Mm-hmm.
marks, because I don't want to be doing this forever. I really want to just check in on an email a couple times a
Listen,
day and
I'm
and
trying to
just
have,
chill.
listen, I'm trying to be somewhere on the island. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
And
I
all I
feel
need is
like
Wi-Fi, and I'm gonna check in the morning. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
check in
check
the afternoon.
in.
Everything good? We got the rides done. All right,
Good,
I'll check in
everybody
tomorrow.
covered, but you have to start somewhere, and I
Yeah.
think that that whole grinding and even hustling, having a purpose behind your hustle, like not just saying I'm getting
This is what
up
you're
and
gonna
I'm
do.
hustling, but and you better make sure entrepreneurship is what you want. I ain't trying to deter nobody from doing it, but I just think you have to make sure, because if that was the case, everybody would be a business owner, like, and because it's not for everybody. It's not for the faint of
Everybody
heart.
can't be a
It's
boss.
not for the faint.
Everybody can't be a boss. And entrepreneurship is really character development. It's going to test you. It's going to push your limits. What you think
Hmm.
are your weaknesses just might be your strengths. What you think are your strengths
Right.
just might be your weaknesses. You
Weaknesses.
know, you gotta know how to deal with people. You gotta know how to. I mean, it's just I literally had to change, and this isn't my very my very first time with entrepreneurship, y'all. I had a friend that was a stripper, okay? And she needed somebody to watch her kids. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, I watch your kids on the weekend. I ain't doing nothing. I'm off on the weekends. You can drop them off on Friday, pick them up on Sunday. And that's what I did. And guess what she did? Went back to the club and said, "Oh, I got somebody watch my kids."
And they like, for real? Can you watch my kids?
And guess what? They coming with
Yeah.
cash.
Cash.
I mean,
Listen, cash
they coming,
money.
exactly. They coming with cash money, okay? So that was my first thing that I was like, so this is my first time actually having a legal, because I did daycare for years. So I had I had enough knowledge. I got early childhood education and all of that. But I did not have like the legal structure,
Mm-hmm.
with that. But yeah, I mean, so me saying that, oh yeah, I know how to do, I can make some money. I know how to make money, but making money and running a business, a
It's
legal
two
and a
different
legit
things.
business, is two different things.
Two different
And so
things.
you have to have the mindset. You got to have the right people around you. You got to have, I mean, it's
Ooh,
a total
child, listen.
change
That
of your life.
circle, that
Your
circle.
circle is important. And guess what? The most surprising thing to me is the people that I thought was going to be in my circle, the
They
people
ain't
that
there.
I thought was going to be in my circle, the people that I thought that we was going to be 5 years from now sitting at the top and like, oh, we did this. They ain't
Yeah,
here.
I say the same thing.
They
That's
not
why I say
here.
it's. I feel like entrepreneurship is lonely.
It's very lonely.
It's
When they
very,
say it's lonely at the top, now I say it's lonely in the middle.
it's lonely.
Because people going to start falling off. People
But
going to
but
fall
if
off.
they fall off, that just mean to me
They
like
wasn't meant. They
they
wasn't meant to
wasn't
see you
meant.
at the
And
top.
I ain't gonna lie. I've had friends or people, I should say, that I've known for years. And when I left law enforcement and became an entrepreneur full time, that's when you would get the little side comments like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, yeah, I see you doing your little business,"
Mm-hmm.
and like that dude say, "What you?" He
Little
said,
right.
"Oh,
What you
what
mean? Little.
you mean?"
Little.
But then you start seeing the shade, like,
They start
and you
calling us.
realize like,
Oh, you don't have time, but we ain't invite you because you don't got time because you working on your
because I'm
business,
working.
and all this and all that. We ain't,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, well,
And okay, but then I notice when when you stop getting invited, or when you stop checking on people, because I'm just that person. Like, if I don't hear from you, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna send you a text like, "Girl, you good?" But when you take a step back and you realize like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm the one that's doing all the checking on, and
yeah,
you ain't checking in, and you ain't supporting." Like, I know you.
exactly.
If you tell me you saw my post, but I don't see you that you like my post, and you ain't shared my shit,
Or when you talking about stuff and they get quiet on the phone and they don't have no type of feedback, they ain't saying, "Oh, that's
and
good," or
nothing.
anything. They just dead quiet on the
Then
phone. It's like, oh, dang.
it's time.
I
So
didn't know,
I
and
would definitely
it's a hurtful thing. Honestly, I think
say
that's something that I really really had to deal with. It was a hurtful thing because
it
I
still
wanted these
is.
are people that I wanted at the top with me. I had people
Right.
that say, "Oh, let's go to brunch. Let's go get our feet done. Let's go get our nails done. Let's do this." But I don't have nobody to sit down. Well, I do now because I had to create my circle. But
The
I did
circle.
not have somebody to sit down and say, dang, this algorithm is blowing me right now. You know,
Mhm.
like, or I don't
You
know what I'm gonna do. I got a full scale. You know, people will get dead silent on you. I mean, it was a very hurtful but eye opening thing. It was.
I just
It was a
it
lot.
was tough. I ain't even gonna lie.
It was tough.
I'll
I
be
went through because
like
I
it
was
was
like,
tough because
dang,
I'm talking about, girlfriends. And what's crazy is I would reach out for the services that I would reach out for the stuff that I knew that you were an expert in, like marketing. Like
hmm
I had a girlfriend that was her master's degree was in marketing. And
hmm
so when I would call and ask questions, like you like, well, and I'm
like you
I'm
don't
telling,
know, like they don't know what you
like you
talking
don't
about. It's like
know.
how
And
you don't
she
know
like,
this
and then
what
she
you
would say,
do.
well, social media is not really marketing. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. And then I'm thinking like, bitch, what you trying to tell me? You ain't telling me shit.
You ain't telling me nothing.
You ain't
Yeah.
telling me nothing. So then I started noticing, and then I just started falling back.
hmm
And I'm like, girl, I'm 51, and listen, my tolerance level is really
Very
low
low.
in
Very low.
my life. So I'm like, well, you know what? I thought we were friends, but it makes you reevaluate,
It
and so
makes you
that's what I say
reevaluate.
about.
I've literally offered to pay people to help me out and do certain things, and they still
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do it. And that was my eye opener. That I'm like, dang, you sitting around. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing you say, well, I don't know how I'm gonna pay this. I don't know how I'm gonna pay this. And I'm telling you that okay, just do this for me a few days a week, and I got you.
And I'll
And
pay
they
you.
still didn't do it. And I was
It's time to
like,
go. It's time to
you
go.
don't want to see
It's
me,
time now.
it's you don't want to see me win. How I'm
I saw.
offering you, I'm
offering to
offering
pay
you
you.
money. I'm giving you money that I don't even really have, but I just need it. I need this responsibility taken off of me so I can take this to the next step. And you, as my friend, really
Mm.
should have, did that for me just because you want to see me win.
Just
But
listen, offer
but I'm gonna
GP.
pay
Offer
you, and you
GP.
still didn't do it. Okay.
Yeah, I
So it's
have
not about the
definitely.
money. It's just that you don't
It's
want to
just
be a
that you
part of
didn't
my
want
growth.
to do it,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm telling you, it's real. I've had this same girlfriend. When I tell you, she marketing, can write grants, and when I'm coming to you and asking you for stuff, and I'm even giving you suggestions to help you start your business and help you grow.
Ooh,
I'm giving.
yes. I'm
I'm the
tapping
one that
into your
push.
talents, and I'm like,
I'm
girl, you can
pushing
do
you
this.
because I'm like, girl, you got talents
Yes.
that other small businesses like mine can really use. And you kind of, every time I talk to you, it sound good at the moment, but then you just don't do it. And then I'm like, you know what? So when I moved from where I used to live to Charlotte, I changed my number.
Mm,
Clean slate. I had the same number for like 20 years.
mm-hmm.
Clean slate, changed my number, and guess what? If you ain't getting
New
no call
phone,
from
who
me,
this? New life, who this? Yeah.
I ain't don't message me on Facebook. Don't listen. If I didn't give you my number, that means I did not have any intention of you don't need it. And
And
so that whole
also people making comments like, "Oh, I didn't know that you was, like, oh, you really
you
smart.
serious.
You really, you know what I'm saying? You really doing this, And I'm like, yeah, like anybody that knows me, like I said, that was my first thing is watching the strippers' kids. But and I got in trouble in second grade because I was taking my lunch money and loaning it out to the kids in school and having them pay me back for the lunch money. So it's like anybody that knows me know I'm going
Yeah.
to get some money. I was selling candy in
Oh,
in middle
you
school.
was a candy lady.
I had it. Look, I had an instrument case and I had my candy in an instrument case. And I would carry that instrument around with me from class to class to class, selling bubble gum and everything. Like, listen, so since we was
Oh,
little, that I've been about getting some money, but now it's surprising you for some reason. So I mean, it's a hurtful thing to go through, but that's part of
yeah.
entrepreneurship. It
That's
is.
about that's
It
the
is.
entrepreneurship journey. So,
Yeah.
if
It's
somebody would
all
have
part of the
told
journey.
me, if somebody would have told me I would have been a little better prepared, but
Yeah.
since ain't nobody told me, I was
And
like,
then,
damn.
and honestly, if somebody would have told me that the people that would have did that to me I wouldn't even believe them. I
I
would have
wouldn't.
probably been beefing with them like, that's my girl. Why would you say something like that? But surprise, surprise.
Surprise,
Somebody said a long, a
surprise.
long shark in the sucker. Yes. I got to listen. My wallet was like this. My mother was like, "Where are you getting all this money?" And to this day, I have not told her that that's what I was doing. I just told her, I was like, I found that on the playground, and she took it
Oh
up to the
shit.
school and made me turn it in, and I was so like, hey, but I couldn't tell her because she was like, girl, I had a whole little thing. I went and my brother went and told the people that we didn't have no money, so they started giving us free lunch. So, but my parents were still giving us the lunch money, so that's how I was able to eat lunch and
The
still,
hustler.
And then I had a friend, her mother would make some good sandwiches, so she would give me her sandwiches, and therefore I had my lunch money. So, it was a whole little thing that I had in second grade.
Girl, you was a straight hustler.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So,
you
but
was
yeah,
a hustler.
yes, we have been running our miles on here, and like I said,
Oh yeah.
the morning starts early in the morning. I have a full day.
Yeah.
God bless, because it was a
I
time
got a
when
light
nobody was
day.
calling my phone but the
I
scam
keep it
people.
light on Fridays. I keep it light. That's the plus.
I try to be off I try to have the majority of rides done by 12 on Fridays, and then everything else is dialysis. So I do
Yeah.
have a driver that works in the afternoon. I had to let my other driver go. I might talk about that on TikTok, but yeah, that was
Yeah.
interesting. I
I'm
had to
gonna
go
keep
through
it
that
light.
this week. But yeah, so we'll be done with the majority of rides by 12:30, 1 o'clock. You know,
Yeah, I
but
have
I start
my
tomorrow.
day. I'm sleeping in.
Okay.
I'm sleeping in. So cause I schedule my days and then we gonna go. But I'm a like Mondays. Mondays usually like my admin day. And then I got a day where I just do research. But on Fridays, y'all, listen. The weekend
I'm
start
chilling.
early, and I ain't going nowhere. I ain't doing the dang on thing, but and I know we just came off Christmas break and all that, but I'm taking it. I take it easy on Fridays. Like I run my little errands, get stuff out the way that I need to
Hmm.
get done,
And keep it moving.
and keep
Yeah.
it moving. Well, it was
Okay. Well,
great,
yeah,
man.
we appreciate everybody that came on here, and
Me
follow
and
us
Sherry,
and stay
we gonna
tuned.
have to
And
make it a twice a month, maybe
yes,
every
yes,
other
we will
week.
definitely be doing this again. So
We'll be
definitely,
back.
stay tuned, y'all. And it was great talking to you, Stephanie. I feel like you said, I feel like we known each other. Like I'm over here talking, catching up on good old
Like we've
times.
known
But
each other forever.
I know. But yeah,
Well,
this was
y'all have a
good.
good night. I appreciate y'all.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, Sherry, I'll see you later.
Okay. Have a
All
good
right,
one.
good night, y'all. Bye.